Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Week 9 RotoWire Start Sit Show. I'm Jim Coventry. You can catch me on the X at Jim Coventry NFL. I pin all my weekly content there so you know which videos I have upcoming. If you want to read my articles behind a paywall at RotoWire, it can get you 15% off. Use the code YouTube15 at checkout, get you all set up there. We have a really cool start sit tool at RotoWire that on non-game days, so Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, it is free to anybody. And you can go and you can put in the players that you're considering starting. It'll use the RotoWire consensus rankings. It'll give you a start on game days. You got to have a subscription for that, and that's why again the code YouTube15 gets you 15% off there. This week upcoming, I will be making I'll be on the XM show channel 87 both Wednesday and Thursday from noon to 2 Eastern. I'll be subbing in for Jeff Erickson. So if you want to catch a little extra XM, that'll be 2 days to do that. You can always rewind that if you have the Sirius XM app. A few notes before we get into answering these questions here. The only game with potential weather concerns is Carolina at Green Bay. Only a 33% chance of rain, which means there's a 67% chance it won't rain. But 15-mile-an-hour winds, that's not really a problem. It's above that we start to talk, but the gusts are 28 miles an hour. That would concern me with Bryce Young a little bit. If I can't tell you how often the gusts are going to be there, but it's problematic for a quarterback that doesn't really have the most dominating arm. So consider that as a potential pitfall for him. Also a little worried. And again, Bryce Young, I don't want to talk too long about him, but yeah, he practiced with a high ankle, but he had a high ankle and mobility can't be 100% and probably not a good pass rush to be less at 100% with. All right. A few players I've marked as upside plays. Jordan Love, that game I just talked about against Carolina. If Green Bay takes to the air, it is a very favorable opportunity. If they do turn Josh Jacobs a little more loose off that calf injury, they could also get a lead, which is why I have Love ranked at 15, because if they do get running the ball and they get a lead, they may not need to have to pass a whole lot, so be careful there. Aaron Rodgers is an upside play this week. Indianapolis probably has a really good chance of getting out to a big lead, and if they do, Rodgers may have to throw in that secondary in Indy. It can be beaten, and if the passer doesn't get home, Rodgers gets it out quick, so there's thought there. Other than that, Jawan Jennings, wide receiver 34, he has a lot more upside than that, though. He's a player that I'm definitely going to push him into lineups when I have the opportunity. The Giants play a really high rate of man coverage, and their top two outside cornerbacks, Paulson Adebo and Cordell Flott, are out today. So, yeah, this is a great opportunity for Jawan Jennings to make some noise as the trade deadline approaches. All right, that said, looks like Dalton Schultz is going to play with that knee injury if you really need him as my tight end 21. Tyjae Spears is always an upside play these days because Tennessee trails every week by double digits. And guess who makes hay in the second half? Tyjae Spears. Gentry at running back 9, I put him as a downside tag. It's just been, he doesn't get a lot blocked for him. So you start him for volume, but there's always concerns. All right, let's get to some questions here, and we're a couple minutes out of game. Good. All right. Start out with John. Can't decide Jordan Mason or Travion Henderson. Jordan Mason has played 3 games with Aaron Jones this year. Jordan Mason is averaging 5.3 PPR points in those games. Right now, Jordan Mason is problematic. Both the tackles are starting for Minnesota, but they both have knee injuries. And Detroit is dominant against the run. Probability says Mason is not in line for a good game. He's not a pass catcher. Travion Henderson, look, the team always shows they don't want to use him. What other option do they have? I mean, you're not giving Terrell Jennings 20 touches, right? I have to think Henderson is a bit more involved. And so I would go with Travion Henderson. And I have him one spot ahead in the rankings of Mason. But I do think, again, I probably should upside tag on Henderson, because if they just choose to turn him loose and make Jennings a little more of an afterthought, which I don't think they'll do, he would have more requisite upside there. But I would definitely go with Henderson there, even in the standard league, because Mason just really not getting it done in the backfield. Jones is there. Next question. Good morning to you. Knight or Brashard Smith? That Arizona running game is going to be interesting all year, but realistically, the one day Carter's practicing with the ones, the next day the coach Gannon says that Knight will be out there starting the game. They're both going to be involved. Now he said DeMercado will be involved too. He said all 3 backs will be involved. So it's a bit of a nightmare, but Knight and Carter have been almost splitting equally. It's like 44 or 51 on the snaps, but the percentages are close. They both are going to play. Dallas a terrible run defense. I would Knight is safer. If I'm going to call Knight safe, that's a joke, but it is. He's safer. Brashard Smith is really boom bust because I have no idea how Andy Reid wants to use him here. I have no idea if Andy Reid in this is a big game, and they all know that. And it depends if Andy Reid has some plays in the cookbook that he wants to get in for Smith. So, yeah, probably not going to work out so well if they don't use him, but he has an upside play because if they weaponize him, he could have the big game. Got a super chat question here we're going to get to. Got Scott in the house. Scott, Jameson Williams or Debo? Look, the coach in the preseason talked about getting Jameson Williams the ball, and he talked this week about getting Jameson Williams the ball. The big problem is good luck doing it because, and I've been saying that's why I didn't draft Jameson Williams because the interior line doesn't get challenged every week. But as soon as pressure's on Goff is not getting the ball downfield. Now, could they scheme up shorter touches? Yes, but the plays aren't schemed nearly as well as they were with Ben Johnson. So, Jameson Williams, any week he can go off. Good luck calling it. He has a goose egg last week. He had a 1 for 9 3 weeks ago. He did a little something 2 weeks ago. Look, Debo hasn't been great lately, but he's going to face a lot of Seattle zone. Seattle brings a pass rush. I would imagine with McLaurin out that the game plan has to be a lot of Debo Samuel. I think Debo Samuel has both floor and a reasonable ceiling in this game. I wouldn't take the headache with Jameson Williams. Look, could he go out for 30 points? Yeah. Is it probable? Very unlikely. It's like you're in Vegas and you want to bet zero, then go ahead and do it. I wouldn't recommend. You have a really good option. Debo, even the last 2 games have been rough. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, next we got Kevin next. Good morning to you. Need the following in the PPR: 3, Thomas, Jennings, Franklin, Diggs, Monungai, Chase, or Monty. Wow, that's a pretty good group of players. That's only pick 3 from. So basically, you could kind of go with a blend of safe and upside. So look, I don't know how you sit Monungai here because Cincinnati's terrible against the run. He's going to get the Bears' offensive line is actually getting really good push in the blocking side. I would start him. And Montgomery, this is one of the matchups where you use him. There are weeks where I tell you don't use Montgomery. Got him low. There's a week where he actually looks pretty. I have him as a running back 15. Minnesota's terrible against the run. Detroit's an 8.5 point favorite when they're leading. Monty's the closer. He probably gets in the end zone today. And then for the third one, you know what? I would take my shot with Juwan Jennings. You heard me mention at the top of the show that both starting corners are out. The Giants play a lot of man. It's a really good setup for Jennings. Certainly could consider Chase Brown, but if Flacco goes out, if let's say he gets in the shoulder and he goes out, that whole offense falls into the cavern. So that's the way I'd go. Brian Thomas Jr., look, it's just been you want to swing for upside or something, maybe you put him in for Jennings, but he really hasn't had much of that. So, and he's hurt. He's not 100%. It's shoulder injury. Next one needs 3: Mason, Monty, Pollard, Thomas, Franklin, or Higgins. I will take the chance that Flacco stays upright in this one. The Bears don't have a very good pass rush. Just talked about him. I would take the risk with Higgins because those Bears corners are really struggling. Injuries. Stevenson comes back today. I'm not worried about that. So I play Higgins for sure. I would play Monty for the reason I just gave you. Now, the third one in that group, I think Thomas has a good enough floor to put him in above the others because I think he has potential for a little more upside. Franklin is I wouldn't like Franklin against Houston. I liked him last week. I said he was a good dart throw last week. I don't think the probability is a good dart throw this week. All right, let's see. I'm going to type the time on where I leave off so I can go to the super chat question. Sometimes super chat it bounces me all around. John, assume Shaheed is out. I thought he was expected to play today. Trying to see if I can get confirmation on this for you. I don't know if I'll be able to at this point, but let me see if I can find something on Shaheed. Let me go to this real quick. But I think Shaheed is playing here. It is a later game. Just really quick checking for you. And nothing's coming up there. So I'm not going to be able to find that out for you at this moment. Notice. Barner, McCaffrey, or Cooks. So Barner gets like those 3 targets in games, and it ends up being okay for him sometimes. But I think Barner would be a small floor. I think McCaffrey, knowing that Jaden Daniels is back and there's no McLaurin, he could catch a downfield pass. I probably still would go Barner because Barner gets used in the red zone. So I probably give Barner a slight edge. The last I knew, I thought Shaheed was going to play, but trying to remember what I read from Schefter this morning, I thought he was expected to play. Pretty sure he is playing. All right, let's get to that 8-12 one here next. All right, there we go. All right, perfect. All right, next one. Rahendra, okay, you got morning to you, PPR. Dan, well, that won't matter for the quarterback, but Jones or Love. Pittsburgh's defense, they really can't stop much of anything. And I think they're going to sell out to stop Jonathan Taylor. And I think that's going to be a mistake. I think Daniel Jones is an excellent play this week. Jordan Love, there is a world, like I said, that the wind gusts are a problem, that they run the ball and they have success and they get a lead and they don't need him a lot. Whereas I think that Daniel Jones and the Colts are going to score so many points, most likely, that he's safer and they have similar ceilings. And Jones could always get something going on the ground, too. Pittsburgh does play a good deal of man defense. So sometimes the corners turn their backs and you could get some running yards. And then Jones or Prescott. Prescott's at home. And Prescott at home has usually been better than on the road. And there is nothing worrisome about the Arizona defense. So, yeah, I just think you roll with Dak here. Daniel Jones, a fine play as well. I got him at the quarterback 11. But Dallas, their defense makes them have to pass. And even against Arizona, I imagine with Brissett, they're going to score their share of points. All right, next one. Good morning to you as well. Addison or Cortland Sutton. Sutton's going to see probably a good deal of Derek Stingley, which I'm not excited. And the pass rush is going to be a little problematic for Bo Nix. But Jordan Addison, it's a problem because he has J.J. McCarthy. And this is where it's really going to become problematic. They haven't played together because remember, Addison was suspended those two games when McCarthy did play. Detroit, they're getting a little healthier in the secondary, and that pass rush is no joke. And both tackles are playing with knee injuries. I think Sutton would be more stable here. I think Addison's a little more boom bust because I'm really wondering if we could trust McCarthy. And then Darnold or Brissett. So Darnold from fantasy, and the last 3 games, I think 2 of the games haven't been quite as great as they were. I got Brissett as my quarterback 10, and I got Darnold as my 13. I don't trust that running game in Arizona, and I think Dallas is going to put up a lot of points. And we've seen for 2 weeks, Brissett had his 2 games were better than any game that Kyler Murray played all year. And we know he's smart enough to get the ball to Trey McBride. So I don't see a reason to sit Brissett here. I just expect to be a ton of points scored in that game. Got some super chat, and then we'll come back to 8-14 at that point. All right, get that. All right, good deal here. All right, let's see here. You got that one already? No, we don't have that one. All right, here we go. Abraham. All right, what do you got here? Morning to you as well. You need a tight end. Barner, Loveland, or Fant. Fant has 3 or 4 catches in every game with Flacco. The Bears are not good against the tight end. If Flacco's shoulder's hurting, some of those middle of the field throws might be easier. They tend to score a lot of points, so he could see something in the red zone. I'd be inclined to say Fant. There's a good case for Barner. Loveland, Cole Kmet's back, and it's not like Loveland was seeing a lot of targets anyway. He had 3 for 35 last week. It's really hard to bank that week to week on him. Fant's been a regular contributor with Flacco, so I would go with him. And the matchup, like I said, is good. Shaggy's next. Morning to you. Need a running back and 2 flex. Chase Brown. Must be Travion Henderson. Diggs and Brian Thomas Jr. Full PPR. You need a running back and 2 flex. There's a slight concern that Flacco's shoulder might not hold up. I expect it's not a big problem. The Bears look at him as pass rush. It's a little risky. I would play Chase Brown, though, because Chase Brown, he has room because defenses now, they got to respect Chase and Higgins because they respect the quarterback to get him the ball. So Chase Brown has room. He has over 100 scrimmage yards 2 weeks in a row. I just think, and the Bears are not good. So I would go with Chase Brown there. And then for your 2 flexes, man, Diggs has been down the last couple of games. It's being really hard to predict right now. It's tough with Diggs. I have him as my wide receiver 23. He's had matchups where I thought he would do really well after having those 200-yard games a while back, but it really hasn't materialized into any consistency. Brian Thomas Jr. probably has a safer floor than Diggs, so I'd probably go with Brian Thomas is my second. And then between Henderson and Diggs, I have to imagine that Henderson has a slightly higher floor because I imagine they're forced to give him the ball at least 12, 13 times, I'd imagine. I think Diggs might have more upside. I would probably play Henderson, though, because I think the floor is safer. Love Diggs, but it's really been an inexplainable last few games for him. All right, see where we're at on here. And there we go. All right. All right, next question is, did I answer that one? Maybe I didn't answer this one. Let me see if I answered this one. Addison, or I answered that one. Darnold, so I answered that one. All right, good. So now we're into the next one. Drovers. You need one in a standard league. Addison, Metcalf, Tracy, or Wandale. Metcalf's in a good spot here. The point spread is only -3 for the Colts, but the Colts are probably going to play with the lead. They're going to be able to score points, which means Metcalf's going to be heavily involved. The outside corners of Indy are not good enough to really hang with him, and they get him the ball in space quite a bit. So I do think Metcalf's a strong play. Tracy's interesting because the team already learned. They learned for week 10 last year that he's not designed for heavy workload. Weeks 5 to 10, he was great last year, and then his 5.4 yards per carry in that span fell to 3.4. He's 3.5 this year. So I really think it's more of a rotation than a lot of people are thinking. I think Singletary will be involved. Wandale, again, with your standard, that takes a lot of luster off, because Wandale's value is often in PPR. So I would go with Metcalf here. I would go with Metcalf and call it a day. See if I got another super chat here. I do have another super chat here. All right, next question. Pick 3. Travis Etienne, Jalen Warren, Kyle Monangai, Bam Knight, Travion Henderson, full PPR. So Travis Etienne is coming out of the bye. My opinion, I have to think Liam Cohen said, I screwed up the run game after week 3. And he did. He leaned on the pass too much. They could have run to set up the pass. The Raiders are a get right spot. I have to think Cohen fixes it here. So I'll go with ETN. Warren is difficult to sit because he's going to get as volume as a receiver, most likely, because Indy likely plays at a lead here. So I like that. And I like Monangai here as well, because again, the matchup is just cupcake, and the Bears offensive line is really doing well in run blocking. So I think those 3 are the way to go. Bam Knight, again, he really needs a touchdown to cash, and it's hard to predict that. Henderson, I'm hopeful, but the team they've had plenty of opportunities to commit to him, and they haven't. So I just really wonder what the floor and ceiling is, and what they're seeing is why they won't trust him enough. Problematic for sure. Joseph is next. Got a super chat here as well. Thanks everybody for those super chats. Thanks for everybody who's hanging out with me today. Appreciate all of you for letting me be part of your game day routine. All right, you need a flex. Quentin Johnson, DJ Moore, Charbonnet, Woody Marks, or Chuba Hubbard. Yes, we already heard that Chuba Hubbard's going to be on the small side of the platoon here. Green Bay, big favorites. Probably play with a lead here. Maybe Chuba Hubbard sees some passing action. Woody Marks, this is not a good matchup for him. It's a fast Denver defense. That's probably to his disadvantage. Not that Nick Chubb's playing well at all, but it's probably more conducive, this matchup, to a heavier back. Charbonnet, inside running is really tough against Washington. Outside, you can shred them, but that's kind of more of a Walker game. So I think that leads us to Quentin Johnson and DJ Moore. So Quentin Johnson, he would goose egg for you recently, but I kind of called that would happen because Alt just came back last week, their left tackle, and the thing was, I knew they had to throw short and intermediate when their offensive line was decimated. Well, now knowing Alt has made it through a game and he's healthy, I think they want to open up that pass game. So Johnston is a ceiling play. He's a boom bust play, but he has boom potential this week. I really think they want to open up space more, and he helps with that. So I think he's your upside play. I think your floor play, believe it or not, is DJ Moore. They've been trying to get him involved, and last week I think he had 11 PPR points. So I think they're getting him more involved out of the bye. That second half against Washington, he got hurt. It was rainy. There was a game last week. They missed him with a touchdown pass at the end of the game. So Moore's your floor play, and Quentin Johnson's your swing for defense play. Hubbard's close, but again, I don't. It's pretty ominous how they're kind of like moving toward Rico Dowdle. All right, let's see where we're at here. Okay, scroll through here. I think I answered that one already. See if I answered that one already. And all right, here we go. Good morning. Big Meech is next. Good morning. Lawrence, Brissett, or Rodgers. It's Brissett for me. They're in Dallas. Dallas can't defend. Dallas will score a lot of points. Brissett has had 2 great fantasy games in a row. Lawrence is really hard to trust, even though they have an easy matchup. they they're without Travis Hunter. Not that he's been a big part of what they do, and Tim Patrick given 20% of the snaps. He's out in this one. I imagine they can run pretty well here. I wouldn't trust him. And Rodgers has too low of a floor because I have as an upside play, but too low floor. I have Brissett ranked very highly this week. All right, Big Meech next. Half PPR, bench one of these. Chase Brown, Gadsden, or Travion Henderson. I mean, Gadsden appears to be a part of that offense that's going to be really hard to put that genie back in the bottle. If they do start using Quentin Johnson downfield more, I mean, I don't know if the targets get taken from Gadsden or Keenan Allen. They'll probably get taken away from McConkey. But I think right now it's really hard to sit Gadsden. And Chase Brown has 100 scrimmage yards in the last 2 games. So it's hard to sit him. So I would sit Henderson. If you're a little squeamish about Gadsden, I get it. But I just don't see him going away from him. So I have Gadsden ranked at tight end 11. I'd like to rank him higher. They should have their way against Tennessee. So there's that. And then Brian Thomas or Henderson. Yeah, that's a good question. Man, the Brian Thomas one is so tough because he just, he has a shoulder injury now, and that he's playing, but for him to be less than 100% on the season, that hasn't been going well. I'm going to tell you this. Henderson is a pretty safe floor. He should get you 60 yards this week. So I would say he's the safe floor play. He probably gets a few catches too, 2 to 3 catches. So he's your floor play in your half PPR. But if you need upside, I don't know that Henderson, I can't, from what we've seen this year, I have nothing to quantify that there's upside there. So you got to swing for the fence because you're an underdog. Then Brian Thomas Jr. would be your play in that case. Otherwise, it'd be Henderson. Charbonnet, Michael Carter, or Christian Watson. I said earlier, Charbonnet, the inside run matchup against Washington, that's pretty wicked. Walker has a better matchup than Charbonnet in this one. I do think Carter is interesting because I do think Dallas can score enough points and push Arizona into more of a turbo mode. And that means Carter, who's playing, 45-ish% of the snaps. He's not on the roster right now. They'll elevate him for the practice squad by 2:00 today, 2:00 Central. But so that said, I mean, he probably in your half PPR, he's probably the safest of the 3 right now because Charbonnet has a bad matchup, but Charbonnet finds the end zone so often. Watson's your boom bust play. Look, I told people this on the XM show yesterday. Watson was at full peak of his powers last year. He had 4 games with double-digit PPR points. He had 5 games with 2.3 or less. Last week he had his game. He has double digits, but those don't come often for him. So based on him at the full peak of his powers not doing that consistently, hard to bet on him. And the upside isn't so high. 19 points is his best game last year. And 15 games later, something like that. So I think Michael Carter is the way to go. But if you believe that Charbonnet will get in the end zone, then play Charbonnet. But it's hard to predict a touchdown. Flacco or Nix. I'm going with Flacco here. Nix had 2 great games in a row. He had a great 4th quarter against the Giants. And then he played Dallas, where a lot of people do great. But he has had a lot of bad games. Joe Flacco, you are risking he gets hit. You are risking that. So if you're at all nervous about his shoulder, then go ahead and play Nix. I got him 14 and 17. I got him close. But I do think Flacco will be in a higher scoring game. And I think he's smart enough to get the ball out short. He doesn't have to fire it downfield. He got Chase and Higgins, and the Bears are not good at coverage. So I give Flacco the edge. But again, if you have any apprehension about his shoulder, then just pass the risk and take Nix. Let me make sure I don't be super chat. I do. I have a super chat here. That's what we got here. All right. Thomas. London or Pittman. Wow, that's a good league where you got that kind of problem. Drake London is really, really difficult to start because with Michael Penix, there's a potential for 10 to 15 targets on the table. And that's not like hyperbole. 10 to 15 targets is clearly on the table. With Pittman, certainly not. Pittman's in a good spot, but Drake London is Drake London. And I don't think I would sit Drake London, obviously, aside from one of the guys I've listed out of him. Even if Pittman ends up outscoring him, the probability of London getting a lot of targets is too good to pass on. And then pick 2 out of Dobbins, Henderson, and Marks. I'll sit Marks in this one. Again, Denver is a fast defense, and that plays against Marks's game. The other two, Dobbins gets his volume for sure. Henderson, we expect he'll get reasonable volume here. Again, expect, great word, right? All right, next we got Michael next. Full PPR, Loveland or AJ Barner. I don't know what that says. I don't know what that. Oh, wide receiver Trey Tucker, Franklin Horton. All right, I'm not quite sure that between Barner and WR says, and I really have no idea what that says. So Loveland or Barner. Komet is back, so I'm going to give AJ Barner, who has a greater chance of scoring a touchdown. And then I'm just going to assume I'll rank these for you. Pierce 1, Tucker 2, Horton 3 because Kupp is out, Parker Washington 4, Franklin, I don't like his matchup 5. I'll just rank them for you. Hopefully that helps. Good morning, Dingo. 6-point passing touchdown. Dak or Drake May. It's an impossible problem to have, right? Because I have the remaining quarterbacks are my 3 and 4. So that's complete coin flip. My guess is Dallas at home scores more points. So that's why I have Dak an eyelash ahead of May. But they are, if there was a way to put them side by side, I would do that. So I have Dak ahead, so I'll say Dak, but I have them right at the top of my board. So I would, maybe the 6-point passing touchdown gives me a little more toward Dak, but again, it's the same. So trust your gut, but I say Dak. All right, next one. Full point PPR, running back in a flex between these 4. Henderson, Dowdle, Quentin Johnson, Drake London. So you need a running back. You know what? Dowdle's supposed to get more work. He's been playing extremely well. Henderson, we really don't know what we're getting. So I'm going to go with Dowdle over Henderson. Assuming, the Patriots have taught us all year, they're going to get another running back involved. So I think Terrell Jennings and maybe Dearness Johnson. I'd be stunned, but watch Dearness Johnson get 6 touches. That would floor me, but watch it happen, right? So we'll go Dowdle. And then with the 2, I'm definitely, London's not, and obviously no question. So your last 2, Henderson has a higher floor than Quentin Johnson because I do expect 12-ish touches. He should get that, But Johnson, like I said earlier, Alt had a healthy game back. They trust him to be healthy now. I think they're going to start opening up the downfield passing game here. So I do think Johnson has a ceiling. He's a boom bust play because, again, if they don't do it, then you're left holding the bag. But if you need points, a lot of them, Johnson's your play. But Henderson's a great floor play in that situation. Disco Dave, you're starting Vidal in 3 leagues, Monangai in 2 already, which that's all fine. That's really good. 4th league PPR, you need 1 for the flex. So Brian Thomas, Debo, Vidal, or Monangai. I get the point of diversifying, but Monangai has been effective when he's on the field. The Bears' offensive line's been really good. They're playing Cincinnati. Roschon Johnson, who's terrible, is out. So, no, the Bears are Britton Brown or something like that. I imagine Monangai is going to get serious volume. And Vidal, how do you say no to him at this point? They're playing Tennessee, and the run blocking's been really good. So I love Debo this week, but a volume running back is really hard to set. So I think Monangai is an easier matchup. So I would probably go Monangai there, but I don't think I'd diversify. You've got volume running backs who are playing well in good situations, especially Vidal playing well 2 of the last 3 games. All right, next. I got a super chat that I got to come back to this one. So let me see here. Super chats always take precedence when I see them. I try to see them pretty quickly. I do my best on that. All right, let's see what we got here. Abraham, Charbonnet or Spears? So I'll have Charbonnet ranked ahead of Spears. I have Charbonnet as running back 23 and Spears as 28. But Spears, I have the upside tag on because I fully expect the Chargers get a big lead. And Spears is getting it done in the second half of games. They both play, but Spears will get those chunks of yardage when the defense goes into prevent mode. If it's my lineup, I'm going to take that shot and play Spears. Charbonnet, again, tough interior run defense for Washington. Terrible on the outside. Walker's going to have potentially one of his better games here. I just think running against Bobby Wagner in the middle, there's no future in that, right? Again, Sharps, who scored a touchdown, which is why I got him ranked higher. He tends to be very good at the goal line. But I think Tyjae Spears would be my play there. Even, like I said, the upside tag means a lot for me there. It's just hard to rank Tyjae Spears higher without – that's why I use these tags. It kind of lets me hedge a little bit. All right, see what we got. We got 909 next. All right, see. Well, I didn't type that one right. There we go. Okay. And, okay. Bo Nix, Rodgers, or Brissett playing against Lamar. Again, I'm going Brissett. I have Brissett at quarterback 10. He has been great. He's had 2 games. I believe both games were over 22 fantasy points. I have these markers I use for scores, and I have green on both of his. I think it's over 22 points in both of his games. Dallas, good luck, right? Dallas is terrible. So he's going to get it done, and Dallas can score points. So, yeah, give me Brissett there, the floor and the ceiling. All right, and the next one, PPR, need a receiver and a flex. I guess that means Dobbs probably. Myers and Mason. All right, so again, Mason has had 3 games with Aaron Jones, and he's done next to nothing, 5.3 PPR points per game. And they're playing the Detroit run defense, which is usually lights out, and both offensive tackles are playing hurt, and the center's out. So I'm going to, even though we don't know what Myers can do, hopefully knock on something. The Raiders want to showcase Myers for a trade, and hopefully they get him 8 targets. And I don't know. And Dobbs, of course, he's been a good floor play for you. And against Carolina, maybe he finds the end zone today, right? All right, next one. Morning to you as well. All right. Trying to find room for a Taylor handcuff. Who would I drop? White, Tucker, you've got Bucky. I would drop Sean Tucker because, look, either White or Bucky are probably going to be healthy. And Tucker's had plenty of chances to get pushed into the lineup on a regular basis, and they won't do it. So for whatever reason, Tucker's the one you drop, I'd say. Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not in their house. Irving can't be out much longer. They didn't put him on IR. I would be borderline stunned if he wasn't back next week. But that's me. All right. Morning, Master J3. Sutton or Shakir? So I like Shakir this week. I have him lower. I have Sutton as wide receiver 19 because his volume is typically reliable. I have Shakir at wide receiver 24. And the one apprehension is if Buffalo really gets rolling on the ground, they may not have to throw a lot. That run game has been clicking. But that said, this game is probably going over 50 points. And the slot is a really good place to attack the Chiefs. So Shakir I have ranked lower. I'm a little worried about Sutton against Stingley. A little bit worried. If it's my lineup, I have the rankings where I have them, but I would probably take the shot on Shakir in what I see to be a very high-scoring game that gives him more potential outs to get ahead of that higher-ranked Sutton. Chris, hey to you as well. Half PPR, you need 2 running backs and flex. Dobbins, Monungai, Odunze, Knight, or McMillan. So for the 2 running backs, look, Dobbins doesn't get many ceiling games, but it's a very good rushing attack, a good offensive line against a tough defense, but they do get him involved. So I would use Dobbins as running back. Monungai, I think you got to play him. You've heard me talk about him already, so I won't go over all that again. But you got to go with him here. And then for your flex, I know Odunze hasn't had the streak of games that we've wanted, but you've got to go with him against Cincinnati. Knight again, he's going to need a touchdown to cash, which could maybe not. And McMillan, with the wind gust of 28, and Bryce Young back, and yeah, not so excited about that. McMillan, I'm not throwing shade at him. Kid's going to be a star. He's got to get away from Bryce Young, don't we all? All right, let me make a note here. I got another super chat, so I got to come back to a 916, and let's get the super chat. I got another one in here. All right, let's see what we got next here. Might have 2. Oh, you know what? If I maybe Abraham had 2 questions, I only answered 1 earlier. Well, if I did, let's get it right. So I told you Spears. Maybe I didn't see the Trey Tucker or Washington. Now, I assume you mean Parker Washington. That'll be the assumption. Trey Tucker has been reasonably involved, and I know that Parker Washington will be too, because obviously Tim Patrick, 19% of the snaps is out, as well as Hunter. So yeah, Washington will play quite big, but this is a pretty good matchup for Tucker. I don't see Jacksonville as an impressive matchup against the pass. And look, the Raiders are terrible, but Tucker is involved. I would give Tucker a slight lean because I think he has a better chance of making a big play. He has a better chance of scoring a touchdown. I would go to him over Parker Washington. It's close. I get it. It's a very good question. And Thomas, I'm going to go with Brissett here. Yeah, Darnold is fine, but I don't, like I said, Brissett, I told us a couple minutes ago, you heard me say it, that he has 2 games over like 22 fantasy points. And this is the easiest matchup, and it's probably a game they got to chase points. Brissett's really, really hard to sit here because Dallas doesn't even get a great pass rush either. So, yeah, we're going to go with that. And then let's see, 9-16. All right. And let's see where I'm at here. All right, next one. All right, Rahendra, PPR, 2 of the 3, Vidal, Monangai, or Chase Brown. That's a tough one. All 3 are in good spots. Man, Chase Brown was over 100 scrimmage yards in the last game. So look where I got him in my rankings. Monangai got 2, maybe a little bit too low, but I'm going to go with Vidal and Brown here because I do believe of the 3 backs, they're the 2 more talented backs. Both of those 2 have been productive. Now, Vidal had the bad game against Indy. I get it. So, and Joe Flacco is officially active, by the way. Just saw that through. As we expected. So, just FYI there. All right, I will sit Monangai here. I'll go to 2 better players. They're all in good spots. But if you got a gut feel on that one, I definitely get it. Chris, all right, what do you got here? Half PPR, need a running back and a flex. Monangai, Brown, Pittman, or McMillan. So, Brown would be. You know what? Yeah, I would go Brown. I would go Brown again. I just went over Monangai a second ago. For the second one, I almost think Monangai has a better floor than both of these guys because of the opponent. Pittman has touchdown upside, but I would lean to go with the 2 running backs here because I think the floor and the potential for a touchdown is there for both of them as well. So I would tend to go that direction. Pittman over Monangai is definitely worth considering, but there are weeks they just don't need him. And I wonder against Pittsburgh, if the run game takes off, how much they're actually going to need him. But there's a lot of ways that game could go. Oh, trying to trade for Gadsden. Let's see. There's too many variables in that Master J3. Too many variables. It would take me too long to process that one. If you just gave me a straight up player for player, I could have told you what was good. I'm sorry. It's too many. Shooksan, good morning to you. Would I go Brissett or Caleb Williams? So I got Caleb at 9, Brissett at 10. And Caleb has not been great the last 3 weeks. I still think against Cincinnati, I don't know how crazy heavy they're going to lean in their running it with 1 running back. I don't think it's like when they have Swift and Monangai where they can just run the tar out of the ball. Because if Monangai were to get hurt, they don't have much to fall back on. So I have them right next to each other. Both will be higher scoring games. It's a coin toss. I would give Caleb Williams the edge here. It's close. And then Booty, DK, or Parker Washington. So I think I have Booty ranked a little higher than, trying to see where I have him in the rankings here. I have Booty at 38, and then I have DK at 39 right next to each other. I think DK gets more targets than Booty, but see, at some point the coaching staff's going to figure out, oh, we need to get this guy the ball. They're going to figure it out. They just haven't. And so Booty has huge upside because they throw him 2 deep shots. Hey, the dude could get 2 big plays. I think DK has a safer floor this week. They're going to be down a lot of points. They're going to have to throw. Until I see Booty get regular targets, I'm a little nervous. So I will go slightly with DK, but if you want to shoot for like the boom bust of the boom part of it, then I would consider going with Booty just understanding the targets are sketchy. All right, I have another super chat here. Let me type in the time of the stream questions. So I got that. All right, see what we got here. Chris, Olave or Pittman? So 14 or so point underdogs are the Saints. Tyler Shuck did throw the ball to Olave last week. He threw the ball a lot in a short period of time. Olave should have more bankable targets than Pittman. Again, I know the Colts are only 3-point favorites. There's definitely a script where they boat race them. And if they do, they might not need Pittman a lot. They might be like a Jonathan Taylor show, and they have so many receivers, 4 different receivers they could feature. I think Olave is a safe floor, hard to call ceiling, but if the game's a big enough blowout, Rams could even pull starters. I would give Olave a slight lean because I think there's more outs for him to get there, whereas Pittman needs the game to go a certain way to have the type of game he should have. The matchup itself is good. I just don't know how much they have to go to him, where I know Shuck has to go to Olave. He's not going to have really many other options other than do that. All right, let's see here. We're at here, 27. All right, next one here. All right, P. Ryan or Knight. Now, P. Ryan did really well last week. I just don't know that level of workload continues. It's good. They like him. They want him on the field for his pass pro. But I think I would trust Knight against Dallas a little bit more because Dallas is the easiest run game matchup. Both are going to be higher scoring games. And then one more, Quentin Johnston, Shaheed, or McMillan. Of those three, and look, Shaheed did get some targets with Shuck, but I think the downfield game is going to be a problem. I think that's going to be a problem for Shuck. So I think your floor play is McMillan. I think he has the best floor of the three, but I think the upside play is Johnson. Like I said earlier, you probably heard me say, if you've been around, that now that Joe Alt had a healthy game, I think the Chargers definitely want to reintroduce their downfield passing act to open up everything else. They'd had to go away from that when they had the offensive line injuries. So Johnson's your upside play, and McMillan is your safer floor play. All right, Delroy, half PPR, start one. Pollard, Carter, DeMercado. You know what, Pollard, I want to say it's no more. Half PPR, what has it been, like 5 points a game the last 3? I don't know what to do with that. And the Chargers are a great tackling defense. They rally to the ball well. I would probably be inclined to play Carter over him because the likely high-scoring game and the likelihood that they'll have to pass him out of the backfield, I'd give Carter the edge here. DeMercado, my guess is his role is small and he's a number 3. I don't see any reason why they would elevate him above Carter and Knight right now. All right, next one. Easy goer. Good morning to you. It's Swami. I love that little Chris Berman action. Marks or Bam Knight? Like I said earlier, I'm a little concerned with the Woody Marks matchup. I probably got him ranked higher. Let's see where I have Knight at. I probably got him ranked higher. Marks at 27, Knight at 31. But I do have concerns about Marks' matchup because of the speed of Denver's defense. That doesn't make it a great matchup for what Marks' game is. So I had them very close in the rankings. They're almost a tie. Knight has a greater chance of scoring a touchdown. So I think Marks might actually have a better floor because I think he's going to be involved in this one. Whereas Knight, if they fall behind, he may not be. So I think Knight's more likely to score a touchdown. I'm going to go with my rankings here because, again, I think that Dallas could score a lot of points and it could script Knight out, whereas Marks is likely to retain at least half of the workload throughout. I'll keep my ranking for that reason. Delroy, half PPR, Prescott or Williams. Prescott's at home. And I got Prescott at quarterback, 3 of the remaining quarterbacks, because he is at home. He's lights out at home. Good morning, J-Red. Need a running back in a flex. Chase Brown, Jalen Warren, Quentin Johnston, and Gadsden. Brown and Warren are really, really close here. I got Warren at running back 14. I got Chase Brown at 11. Super, super close, though. Indy's defense, fast, a little bit fast on defense, so they might be able to take away some of that yard after the catch when he catches the ball out of the backfield. I think Chase Brown is an easy matchup here. I'm going to go with Chase Brown as a running back in your flex. Warren has the best floor of the group. Gadsden is very, very close. It's going to be hard for him to keep that production when they start using Johnson a little bit more. Warren to be the safe one. I think both Johnson and Gadsden have upside potential. I would say though, so Brown and Warren for me, but I think the upside play, if you want to sub out Warren for ceiling, I think they're going to get Quentin Johnson the ball deep once or twice today, and that could pay off. All right, next question. Joshua need 2. Dobbs, Sutton, Wandale Robinson. Oh, PPR. Okay. So I'm going to go at Wandale Robinson for sure against the 49ers. I have my wide receiver 17. And you know what? Even though I don't really like Sutton's matchup a whole lot when on the snaps when he does see Stingley, it won't be every time. I don't think they're going to shadow. I don't think they will. They could. They probably won't. So I do think Sutton does rate a little bit higher than Dubs. Dubs has been a floor player in that Dallas game where he scored the 3 touchdowns. And against Carolina, again, there's some scenarios like wind gusts supposed to be up to 28 miles an hour. So, and there's 33% chance of rain, but it probably doesn't rain. But I think that's enough of a variable to say we'll go with Sutton over him for that last spot. All right, J Red, everyone, please. Oh, thank you. I appreciate. Oh no, sorry. Well, I'm wrong a lot too. Believe me, I'm wrong. I just try to give you. I try to. That's why I answer with rationale. Let you guys make the decision, guys and gals make the decision. I just give you the rationale so that at least you know where I'm coming from to see maybe there's something you didn't quite consider or didn't consider enough. But again, yeah, we're a community here, right? Anyway, all right. Well, you'll win this week, Jay. That's all we're worried about. We can only handle this week. I'm not a big baseball guy anymore. Used to be, but man, that World Series Game 7, oh my gosh, what an incredible baseball game. Anyway, we'll get back to what we're doing here. You need to cut one from Rashad White or Isaiah Davis. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, you're in the situation where if Breece Hall gets traded, you've got yourself a starting running back. Rashad White is likely out of a starting job in the very near future where you don't know. But they'd never put Irving on IR, which tells me they expect him back. So, it's really a game of chicken here. So I don't even know how to answer you because if Bucky Irving comes back, then White's the easy cut because if Breece Hall gets traded, but if Breece Hall doesn't get traded, you're left holding the bag. So it's tough. I would probably tell you there's probably a 50% chance that Hall gets traded. So I would probably trade White, and then you would have potentially 2 starting running backs. But man, good luck with that one because I wish I was a prophet enough to know whether that trade was going to happen or whether White was coming back. I mean, Irving is coming back soon. Wow, what a great question. Delroy, full PPR start 4. Olave, Tucker, Downs, Moore, Watson. Again, Moore did have double-digit PPR last week. They're getting him a little more involved. Not ceiling play anymore, but I would trust him. I would trust Olave for volume. The other ones are going to be tough here. Josh Downs is healthy. Pittsburgh sends a lot of blitzes, and Downs will be a hot read on a lot of those. I would be inclined to go with Josh Downs, my third one. That's what I would be inclined to go with. Christian Watson, like you heard me say earlier, very good last week, but last year he had 4 double-digit PPR games. He had 5 games, 2 points or less. So that was at the peak of his powers. It's just real. And then with the wind, with the wind gusts at 28 up to 28, now if Watson's going to get downfield stuff and there's wind there, that might be a little the tiebreaker for me too. Abraham, Warren, you as well. Should you start Tucker or Washington? I give Tucker a slight edge here over Parker Washington. Tucker's been involved. Washington will be involved, but I think Tucker has a better chance for a big play. I think he has a better chance for a touchdown. Delroy, start 2 in PPR. Wandale, Higgins, and DJ Moore. Well, we definitely starting T. Higgins, even though he only had 1 target last week as a touchdown. But again, against those Bears corners, I imagine that Flacco's well enough to play, and he's going to get him the ball. So Rico Dowdle is officially starting today. You knew that already, but that was from Ari Myroff. If I say his name right or wrong, sorry. I read their names. I don't really listen, so I don't know the pronunciation of his name correctly. But Ari Myroff. Yeah. So anyway, back to your question. So I probably would be inclined to go with Higgins and Wandale Robinson here. And then DJ Moore has just been not enough ceiling potential. So I would just ride those 2 and go with it. And then Dude is next, half PPR. Jacobs Monongai and Jamar JSN. Oh, you're starting them already. You need 2 flexes from Olave, Nico Collins, Emmanuel Wilson, Dobbs, and Bam Knight. I'm going to make it real easy. I think Olave has to get a lot of targets. He got targets with Shuck last week. And Nico Collins, he's off the concussion. So I don't think you could sit either of those two. And Delray, next one, Woody Marks, Tyrone Tracy, Brashard Smith. I would sit Brashard Smith because we don't know what his role is going to be. It's a big game. I know it's a complicated role he's learning, and I don't know how much they need him. So I think your other options are good enough that you bench Brashard Smith. I don't do kickers. Kickers are all luck, and luck is something I have zero of. So sorry about that. I can't favor teams at a higher implied team total. Team you think is not going to score as many touchdowns. They'll break down in the red zone more. But I am the worst kicker advisor in the world. All right. Delroy, full PPR. Kirk, DK, or Coleman? I would go with DK here. Look, Coleman, if this game shoots out as it could, and if somehow Kansas City slows the rundown, he could be a factor. But what we've seen since week 1, he hasn't been a factor. DK the last 2 weeks, he has been a factor, and they're going to have to pass. Kirk right now, very hard to trust. Don't even know what the status of his. I know he's healthy to play, but he hasn't been healthy all year. So I would just go with DK and call it a day. Rodney, what do you got here? You got Dowdle or Gadsden in the flex. Love Gadsden, but you know what? Dowdle's starting at running back, and that's really hard. He's been playing so well. I just think the floor of a running back over the potential volatility of a tight end, yeah, I've got to go that way. All right, John, assume it's 3 o'clock. Shaheed is out. Yeah, you asked that one. Maybe you asked that in super chat, but we don't want Barner there. McCaffrey was the upside play, but Barner he has a better chance to score a touchdown too. All right, Delegizi, start Rico or Krosky. I got to go Rico Dowdle. That even though they get injured on the offensive line, their whole blocking package has been insane. The tight ends block. They've schemed up the blocking game great. Krosky Merritt. He's playing Seattle. That's not a good matchup. He had the big game against the Chargers, but he hasn't done a whole lot since. So Rico Dowdle is playing at a completely different level, so I will go that way. And Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, I have Jaden Daniels at 5 and Caleb Williams at 9. And there are paths to either doing well. Jaden Daniels has, I think it's one game with over 22 fantasy points, where Williams has like 3 or 4 of those already. Daniels without McLaurin. The matchup isn't great for Jaden Daniels. I rank him higher because he's Jaden Daniels. He can run for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. But he hasn't really done that this year. Whereas Caleb, we don't really know what we're getting. If the Bears, with one legitimate healthy running back, they'll have others on the roster. Maybe they need him to do more. I just would probably feel safer with Daniels. Daniels' floor is better than Williams, and that's why I have him higher. The floor is higher. And I just think for that, I don't know that they have different ceilings, but the floor is better for Jaden Daniels. All right. Michael's next. Full PPR. Io Manor or Parker Washington. I'm going to go Parker Washington here. Io Manor he gets a few targets. Early in the year, he looked really good, but just not getting anything done with him. Parker Washington, obviously we know Hunter's out, and then we also know 19% snaps Tim Patrick's out. Washington's going to be on the field. And I just think Washington has a better path to production than Io Manor. Could Io Manor score a touchdown? Yes. But I don't want to predict it. And DK is becoming a bigger factor. Warren Jordan. Whoops, up 1. Clicked the wrong one. All right. William. Jefferson, Mason, and Worthy. I would put Jefferson 1, Worthy 2, and Mason 3. As I've been saying, Mason is averaging 5.3 PPR points in the 3 games that he's played with Aaron Jones, and he has a nightmarish matchup. All right. Terminal Sarcasm, morning to you as well. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the kind words. Full PPR. Would I drop Parker Washington for Horton? It's interesting. You know what? I might do that. Yes, I might do that. Cooper Kupp's out. And Horton can play. Horton can play. And I'm certainly not worried about the matchup against Washington. It's a dart throw either way, right? I would do that. Yes, I would do that. I would totally do that. It's a great question. All right, next one. Samuel. Jennings, Sutton, DJ Moore. I have Sutton ranked higher, but I would strongly give consideration to Jennings. Giants play a lot of man. Both of their starting outside corners, Adebo and Flott, are out. Oh, Devin Lloyd, linebacker of the Jaguars, not expected to play with the calf injury. That is a boost to Ashton Genty, maybe enough for me to take the red tag off of him. Back to your question. Sutton is safer. Sutton is definitely safer. He's going to get his targets. The matchup isn't great. But if it's my lineup, I'm going down to number 34 with that green mark, and I'm saying all that man coverage, and Jennings, he could beat man. And it's really attackable. And I can't see Kyle Shanahan going into a game with backup corners saying he's not going to attack him. Again, Sutton safer. But I would definitely consider Juwan Jennings. If it's my lineup, I would start him. Goff or Dart. I think that Goff and the Lions are going to have a lot of success running the ball against a terrible Minnesota run defense. Thought they'd be much better than they were. I think Gibbs goes off. I think Montgomery goes off. And then I wonder what's left for Goff. Goff could have a huge game. It's a divisional game. These games are nuts. He could have that. But probability says they run the ball really well today. Dart, on the other hand, is interesting. I still have him at quarterback 8. But he hasn't run for big yardage the last 2 games. I got to put a red downside tag on Dart. I should have done that earlier. I'm going to put a red downside tag on him. Because the 49ers rally and tackle. They definitely run quickly to the ball carrier, whether it's a quarterback or otherwise. I still think Dart, with the smoke and mirrors and the 49ers banged up defense, gets enough done. But I think if you want to swing for the fence, Goff could have that game. I think he could swing for the fence, but I would go with Dart because I do think he runs for 35 yards here, and that's probably enough to make the difference for me. All right. Johnny's next. Got offered a trade. CD, Hunt, Waddle for Genty, Myers, and Debo. I like the CD and Waddle side of it because those are the player. CD really is a player I would want to be on that side every time. Hunt, we heard Pacheco's going to be back in after the bye, so week 11. So he's going to miss one game in a bye, and then he's supposed to be back. So I like the CD side of that. William, need 2 receivers and a flex. TD heavy scoring. All right, 2 receivers and a flex. Worthy, Dobbs, Watson, Jefferson, Mason. 2 receivers and a flex. You need 3 of these. I would go with Jefferson. I would go with Dobbs because of his red zone acumen. Watson may be tougher because of the wind gusts and that more downfield, so it might not work. I'm going to take Worthy, even though the Bills play that shell and they don't give a big plays, because he could get it on a gadgety play. So I would go with Worthy in that mix as well. All right. Oh, you know what? I got to take that out. I had this in the whole time. All right. Good morning to you as well. Need help at flex, full point. Jennings, Moore, Wandale. Wandale had a wide receiver 17. And even though I love Jennings for an upside play, I think Wandale's in a good enough spot where he should be able to win consistently against the 49er secondary. So I will go with him. All right, John, who would ever, you want to know what everybody else would play? Okay, I got you. All right. Tyjae Spears or Kamani Vidal. So this one I got to go with Vidal. Matchup is not problematic at all. They probably play with a lead. Spears is a nice boom bust play, but Vidal is right now 2 or 3 games have been really, really good for them, and I imagine he'll continue to be here. Kamara or Aaron Jones. I think Kamara gets more volume. He looks like he's on the outs. Aaron Jones being in a timeshare, not so good. And the Detroit matchup, not so good. So I would go Kamara there. Shaggy, good morning to you. Need a running back and 2 flex. Brown, Henderson, Diggs. So I would go with Chase Brown. James Koh is in the house. Welcome in, James.
What's up, Jim? How you doing, pal?
I'm doing great. Let me get this headphone in here so I don't get any bounce back on my audio. There we have it, sir. All right, so we are in week 9. Well, I'm going to answer one question, then we're going to get to some inactives. All right, James, how's that sound?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. So back to you, Shaggy. So we'll go Chase Brown. I think on this group, we're going to go Brian Thomas Jr. because his floor should be good enough. And for the third one, I think Travion Henderson should get enough work. Oh, that's Tracy and Henderson? If that's Tracy and Tracy should get enough volume for floor, so we're good there. All right, James, we are going to go through some inactives here. Click this one off. I'll leave it there for right now. All right, so this here, click on. Week 9. Terry McLaurin expected to miss week 10 as well against the Lions. What's your long-term thought about Terry McLaurin? So now he'll miss this week. He'll miss week 10. He re-aggravated that quad injury that cost him about a month. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just don't know how if he re-aggravated something that put him on IR, I just don't know how he finishes out the season. I mean, I know we're like only halfway through the season here, Jim, but it just feels like it's a lost season here for Terry McLaurin. You know, I'd be surprised if he came back and was as effective as he was last year. And as we know too, Jim, it's one of those situations where, look, Terry McLaurin was really effective as a fantasy football asset because why? He was scoring touchdowns at an incredibly high rate. That, as we know, is very, very volatile anyway. So I don't know. I feel like it's probably just a lost year, unfortunately, for one of my favorite players in Terry McLaurin.
Thoughts with the Bears? Obviously, we knew DeAndre Swift was out. We knew Roschon Johnson, who's not any good anyway, is out. There's not a whole lot on the depth chart. Britton Brown's probably not going to get much work. How high are you on Monungai, if at all?
I think Monungai should be viewed as a top-end RB2, right? Like the matchup is pristine. You just can't get away from the matchup. I mean, shoot, 2 of the last 3 starting running backs that have gone up against Cincinnati have scored 30-plus PPR points. Now, I'm not saying Monungai is going to get there, but shoot, I mean, we could start at like 15, 16 and just go up from there, right? Like the base level, 15, 16 points. If he gets anything below 15 points, that would be, I think, extremely disappointing, right? So I think he should be pushing 20 points this week because the matchup is too nice. Trey Hendrickson out, man. Like, come on, let's go.
Somebody in a tight end league where they need some help there. Daniel Bellinger is out. Does Theo Johnson potentially get a couple extra targets that pushes him in a desperation area?
Yeah, I think so. And by the way, Theo Johnson actually has had a lot of good chemistry with Jackson Dart as well. So we're talking about a supremely good athlete in Theo Johnson. I won't get into all his 40 times in verticals and all that, but he's a great athlete.
He is
fantastic
a great
athlete. And he's, again, built a little bit of chemistry here with Jackson Dart. And, yeah, Daniel Bellinger being out, I think that's huge. I think that absolutely pushes Theo Johnson into potential. Look, he's one of my favorite streamers this week. You know, San Francisco's defense is pretty good, but, you know, again, they're a little banged up too. So, you know, hopefully we can see Theo Johnson with five or six targets. And as always with tight end, it all depends on, are they going to get into the end zone or not?
Exactly.
You know, so that's where we're at.
Joe Flacco playing with the shoulder injury. He practiced most of the week, Thursday and Friday. Are you concerned at all about the Bears? Don't have much of a pass rush. Are you concerned about Flacco at all?
I am. You know, it's to the throwing shoulder, right? And I know he was either limited or did not practice on Friday. I think he actually didn't practice on Friday. So I am a little bit worried about Flacco for sure. I know he's going to start here, but I have him in a 2 QB league, and I took him out for Michael Penix. And it's not that I love Michael Penix this week, but again, I just don't want to deal with the headache of potentially Flacco, who, again, is a much older player. I don't want to deal with the injury risk associated, like an in-game injury risk. That concerns me a bit.
Ramondre Stevenson, as we knew, was out with a toe injury. And I think the automatic knee-jerk reaction is Travion Henderson is going to see all the touches. I'm terrified. Terrell Jennings, and they bring up Dearness Johnson.
I know.
Are they going to keep playing these games, and do they have a problem that we don't understand with Henderson? What kind of work do you wish cast or guess cast that we're going to see from Henderson?
I would imagine he's going to see the bulk of the work, but that being said, I don't think we can ignore Terrell Jennings. I think Jennings is going to get some work too. I mean, they showed it last week, right? So again, the Patriots have, it's not going to be, it shouldn't be a complete surprise if it's a 50-50 backfield with Jennings and Travion Henderson. I know a lot of folks are hoping that Henderson's going to see 70% of the snaps or more. I just don't see it that way. If it happens, I think that's found money, but I'm not going into this week anticipating that Travion Henderson's going to see more than 60%. Even if we get to 60%, Jim, I think we should be relatively happy given how the season has kind of unfolded.
Last one I'm going to ask you. So we already know Kyler Murray is not expected to start, but the line was he could have a role. Now my radar went up, James, because well, wait a minute. If he has a role, that means he can use his foot because that's what his value is. So if his foot injury is bad enough to keep him out, but if his foot injury is enough to give him a role, that means his foot's good. But if Tom Pelissero comes out and says it's not some kind of benching, well, if you have to say it's not some kind of benching, what are we looking at long term? Is it Murray or is it Brissett? Or is it Brissett until Brissett has a bad game or two and then Murray's foot's all of a sudden healed? Where do you stand on that?
Well, it's not a good look at all that Jacoby Brissett, a career journeyman backup, I think has guided the offense in a lot of ways better than Kyler Murray, right? So that's not good. Now, I get it. Jacoby Brissett under pressure, not good. Jacoby Brissett has no mobility. That certainly limits you as well. But I think as we're seeing with Joe Flacco here, if you have a veteran signal caller with a big arm, and Brissett's got I think Brissett's got a much bigger arm than Joe Flacco, by the way. If you're talking about a veteran quarterback who's been around the block, he's seen a lot of different things, he's got a strong arm, he just gets it to the right spots when it needs to get to the right spots. Does he limit you? Of course. Of course. And so the upside is, I think, enticing with Kyler Murray because, again, he's just so mobile, but he just doesn't execute the offense. And what I mean by that, Jim, I could get into very specific things. But the number one thing is that Kyler Murray cannot throw to the middle of the field, period. Nope. He just cannot do it. He can't. I don't know if he can't see it because of his size. I don't know if it's because he doesn't trust it. The bottom line is Kyler Murray definitely is hesitant to throw to the middle of the field, and he's just not good doing it, right? And when you've got a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr., who's great on these dig routes and in-breaking routes, and he's just not getting the football in these places, what are we doing out here? You know what I mean? Like, we can't play football like it's the 90s where we're only going to attack the boundaries and say, all right, well, shoot, let's just throw these corner routes out here, low percentage corner routes, and hope for the best. It just, in today's NFL, you just can't play football that way.
Nope. All right, let's get some questions here. We'll go to 2004. We'll go to Flex Ferguson or Rico Dowdles, who's starting, or Montgomery in a good matchup against Minnesota, playing Gaskins as tight end. Thoughts? Half PPR. So Rico, Monty, or Fergie?
I definitely want to play Monty. I just, the problem with that, Jim, is it's like, I know that the downside risk is a lot, but man, hard to get away from that ceiling. From David Montgomery as well. Yep. So, you want to play Gadsden as your tight end, though, for sure, 100%. He's definitely carved out a role, and he deserves to be starting, I think, on fantasy rosters everywhere.
I'm with you on Monty. This is a game. There are Monty games. This is a Monty game. This totally shapes up that way. Next question. Good morning to you as well. Need a running back and 2 flex. Chase Brown, Tracy. We answered this before. We answered this already. I answered before. So good. All right. Next one. Travion, Chuba, Shaheed, or Kraft at flex PPR.
This one's an interesting one. I think if we're just chasing pure upside, it's going to be Travion because we're not sure what the usage will be. But I think of that group, he and Shaheed probably have the lowest floors. I'm probably taking Shaheed out of this whole equation because Tyler Shuck in there, I don't know, man. I'm just
shucks.
not. I know I'm not trusting it right now. Plus, they got a tough matchup too, man. LA's tough defensively. So I'm probably leaning Travion here. Although I to be honest with you, I think I'm tempted by Kraft too.
Right. It's always tempting, man. When that guy gets going,
I
good
know.
luck opposing defense. These two players I have ranked at the hip of this week's rankings. Prescott or May, what do you say?
Yeah, these guys are just they're right there. May's got, I think, a little bit better matchup. Prescott, I think, has been a little bit more reliable in terms of fantasy production. I know last week he bombed, but that's okay. Arizona, I don't think, is very good defensively.
Nah.
Despite what the FPA says, I'm not worried about Prescott at all. I think I'm leaning Prescott here. I think he has a get back and a get right game here this week against Arizona.
And he's at home. That's always huge for Dak.
It is.
All right, next PPR shouldn't matter here. Rodgers or Dart?
I think Rodgers is in a really, really good spot. You know, the Colts have surprisingly given up the third most passing yards per game. I think their secondary is a mess. And it's been so, dude, their secondary is so bad. They've got guys retiring midseason. You know, it's like, that's how bad it is.
Was that retirement? You can't fire me because I quit.
100%. That's what.
Oh my
it is,
gosh!
you know?
And I'm not going to say his
so
name
bad.
to embarrass him, but that's what I think happens. Like, yeah,
That's
right.
exactly.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
retire today.
It's like,
Last
damn,
game.
this team absolutely stinks in the secondary, and I can't even start, bro. Like, I'm out, dude. I'm good.
It's like
But
if you
no,
can't go out like Antonio Brown, go out and just retire.
dude, exactly right, man. Let's go. No, so yeah, no, I think I think we're good there. I like Rodgers a little bit more this week than Dart.
Bam Knight or Jacoby Myers?
Bam Knight. I mean, shoot, what's Jacoby's role? Is he even healthy? I don't even know. Does he even want to be out there? I mean, do the Raiders want to be out there? I don't know. Bam Knight's got a great matchup here, and I know that Michael Carter's going to get some work after they released him and brought him back or whatever. But still, I think Bam Knight is at least going to play 60% of the snaps, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, too risky to play Myers. I mean, the only scenario, James, is if they showcase him for a trade, but we have no idea if that's going to happen.
No
So,
clue.
yeah, Knight's
no
way
clue.
safer. All right, next one. Need quarterback help. Rate Jones, Love, Stroud, Darnold. Which one would you put? Let's just do 1 and 2. Which one would you do 1 and 2 between Jones, Daniel Jones, Jordan Love, CJ Stroud, Sam Darnold?
I think Darnold's number one for me. He's been incredibly consistent, to be honest with you, and the matchup's all right, man. So I would say Darnold number one, and then Daniel Jones number two. You know, as a matter of fact, let me flip that. Let me go Daniel Jones number one, Darnold number two, right there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Again, Pittsburgh giving up the most passing yards per game, and man, their secondary is an absolute mess.
And they play a lot of man. And I tell you what, Indy's got like multiple guys who could beat that. All right, next we got a need 3 in a PPR. Diggs, T. Higgins, Travion Henderson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Rico Dowdle. PPR pick 3.
Wow. The T. Higgins one is really tough because I don't know about the health of Joe Flacco. If Flacco's healthy, I want Higgins in there. I'm going to go, if I had to pick 3, I'm going to go Henderson, Diggs, and probably Dowdle as well. So give me Henderson, Dowdle, and Diggs. I don't have a great read on the Diggs one. I'm flip-flopping between Diggs and T. Higgins, honestly.
Diggs had those 200-yard games and hasn't come close since. So it's like, where do we stand? It's really, really difficult to rank him properly right now. All right, next
Clark
one.
Schuyler. What's up, Clark? What's going on, pal?
There you go. See, you call your co-pilots. I like that.
Yeah.
So pick 2 from here. Walker. I'm trying to think. Kenny Walker. Yeah, Kenny Walker. Trey Tucker, Tyrone Tracy, Wan'Dale Robinson. Pick 2.
I think this one's pretty easy for me. I'm going to go Walker here. I know he's been very disappointing, but the matchup is too nice. Washington gives up a ton of yards to the outside. Their linebackers are slow. They're slow to the ball, right? So like Walker, if he gets to the outside, can burst and get you a big pickup. And I think Tyrone Tracy, starting running back there for the Giants. I know the San Francisco 49ers are relatively tough, but man, they're dealing with a lot of injuries, Jim. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. I'll take Walker and Tyrone Tracy there.
All right. PPR, right. It says right. I don't know what that means. I see Horton or Higgins. I don't know what right means. Right must mean something else.
I think maybe a little misfire there on the keyboard. I think we're talking about Torrey Horton, right? Because Cooper Kupp is now not expected to play.
Right.
Jake Bobo's out.
Out.
Right.
Concussion.
So I think Horton is an interesting spot. Do I trust him more than Higgins? No.
No.
I think I'm still going to go Higgins. Horton's a really good call, though. And
Yeah.
if you're in a desperation move here, like you
Yep.
have a desperation play, Horton's 100% that guy. I really like him, but man, he's been in and out of the lineup. I just don't even trust if he's going to be. Is he going to see starter minutes here? I just don't know.
Right. He's your perfect definition of a boom bust flex.
Yeah.
As a flex, boom bust. That's it. As a starter, you're relying on. Yeah, maybe not yet.
Right.
All right. Struggling. Oh, there's somebody else there, and
Yeah.
there, and we had Drake Mayer Prescott. We answered that. Oh, somebody was spamming me.
Yep.
I think I asked multiple
I
times.
think so. Yeah.
See what we got here. Pick 2 here. Troy Franklin. That must mean Bill Krosky Merritt, I'd imagine.
I think so. Yeah.
Darius Slade. Guys, if you answer,
yeah.
guys and gals, make sure you spell these out. For us. So go ahead.
I like Troy Franklin. I think the last couple of weeks he's really emerged here as a like low-key 1B to Cortland Sutton's 1A. I like Troy Franklin. It's going to be a tough spot, obviously, against Houston. It's supposed to be a lower scoring game. But I tell you what, man, like JCM has not played that well. He's a late round running back. He had a couple of splash plays. It's really, and like you couldn't have asked for better matchups, man. Like,
right?
Krosky Merritt's had great matchups, and he just has not come through. So I'm going to say Troy Franklin here a little bit. Darius Slayton is really interesting too, but again, super boom bust, and I don't know. I don't know what his chemistry is like right now with Jackson Dart.
Exactly.
I don't really trust it.
We have 2 super chat questions just came in here. So first one, Brent Clark, great tight end, by the way. I remember back in those San Francisco days. I'm old. Sorry. All right, we move on.
Totally.
You need a tight end and a flex. Theo Johnson, Evan Ingram, Dalton Schultz, Calvin Austin, and Xavier Hutchinson, who probably has a diminished role now with Kirk and Nico back. But you need a tight end and a flex from this group, James.
Theo Johnson, you could slide in at tight end. I'm not really trusting Dalton Schultz with the injury and the low-scoring game. Calvin Austin is interesting in a great matchup against Indianapolis. I think if we're trying to shoot the moon here, give me Theo Johnson, Calvin Austin. Evan Ingram, by the way, if you want floor, Evan Ingram's your guy too. He'll get some work in there. But I think we could take Hutchinson out because of what Jim just said about Nico Collins and Christian Kirk. So I'm going to say Theo Johnson, and if we're just shooting for upside, give me Calvin Austin. But just go in there. If you're going to play Calvin Austin, go in with the expectations. He could give you a 0. Okay? Like, he could give you a 0, but I think he could also give you 15, 16. If he can get a touchdown as well. So I'll say Theo Johnson. Safety call is Evan Ingram, but again, if we're shooting the moon here, give me Calvin Austin.
Before I get to the next question, I just have to say this and laugh. Adam Schefter's reporting the Cleveland Browns are likely to be more buyers than sellers at the deadline this week. Okay, that's all I needed to say. No commentary needed on that one. Cleveland, you befuddled me.
Yeah, what are you talking? Like, you got to be selling David Njoku right now. David Njoku's got to be on the move somewhere. Like,
right?
What are we talking about? Like, what? If you can move, Dylan Sampson or Jerome Ford would be a great candidate to move.
Yes.
What are we talking about? They got some defensive players that can move right here too. Shoot, I tell you what, go get 3 first-round picks from Myles Garrett. Go ahead, go do it. Like, what are we doing out here, Cleveland? What? I don't get it.
I think they're afraid if they get 3 first-round picks, that's 3 first-round picks they could screw up in the upcoming years. James, to get this next super chat question here.
Jim, you know what they should do? You know what they should do? They should get 3 first-round picks, and they should just take all quarterbacks. Just give me 3 first-round quarterbacks. Let's go. Let's figure it all out.
So good. And none of them will work out. All right. Thanks for saying. Nice discussion on this. Need a running back 2 and a flex from Bam Knight, Rico Dowdle, J.K. Dobbins, and Terrell Jennings. Let's throw a little Torrey Horton in there too.
RB2 and a flex here. I think Bam Knight's a must start. Too nice of a matchup against Dallas. Got to play him. And dude, I don't know. Like, I know there's hesitation with Dobbins, but the guy's been pretty darn consistent. I'll take Dobbins right there too.
All right, sounds good. Let me get back to where we were at on the regular questions. 10-10 should be right about here. All right. Yep, here we go. Found it. 10-10 on it. All right. We'll do a couple more, James. I'll bounce out of here. PPR last flex. Coker, Christian Kirk, Theo Johnson, or Juwan Johnson.
That's interesting. Okay, so PPR, I think. Oh man, Jim, how are we feeling about Coker? He's starting to come around a little bit. I don't know how we feeling about Coker.
The only thing I'm worried about is they're talking 28-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Green Bay, and
Oh,
Bryce Arm has an arm maybe not
get him
so
out of there.
strong. I'll say one thing about Juwan Johnson. He caught a 15 and a 16-yard pass from Shuck last week. That was encouraging.
That's interesting. Okay, so yeah, I think for me it's either Theo Johnson or Juwan Johnson. And to be honest with you, with the Bellinger news, I think I might be leaning Theo here. The Giants are always going to be in a competitive or trailing game script, so I think they'll pass. Give me Theo Johnson here.
We got one more super chat. Don't we get this set up for you so we don't leave you in the middle of something. Or Joseph, 2 receivers, Tet McMillan, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Quentin Johnson first. So do that first. 2 receivers from that group. Tet, Nico, DJ, or Quentin Johnson.
So we're definitely playing Nico. You could take QJ out. The arrival of Gadsden has kind of sort of made him irrelevant, right? So Nico Collins and I think Tet McMillan are the 2 easy ones for me. DJ Moore de-emphasized in Chicago's offense. For tight end, Pitts or Gadsden. Wow. I know you've already got Vidal in as running back. I don't see a running back in like a pass catching, option as like competing to me, right? So maybe it limits touchdown upside, but that's kind of a strange way to play for me, in my opinion. So again, I would probably go Gadsden here. Pitts is really, really interesting too, but man, can I just chase this upside? Gadsden, bro, Jim, am I crazy? Like Gadsden, I feel like, I don't know why, this is going to be a little bit of a hot takey type of situation here, but dude, he's moving around like a young Travis Kelce, man. Like he looks so good. He was so athletic. He just is like roaming around out there. Gadsden looks awesome.
Supercharged slot receiver is what he is. And you know what?
Yeah.
Liked him for that in the draft. All right, I'm going to leave this last question on the screen for you. Let me find exactly where we're at. We are on that one at 10:10. James Koh, appreciate you. Everybody, you're in the fantastic hands with James. Good luck to everybody in week 9.
All right, Jim. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, pal. The best. Jim is the best, let me tell you. Okay, Mace 1. Flacco, Daniels, or Rodgers. I'm going to take Flacco out of that whole equation. Give me Daniels right there. Beautiful matchup against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gives up the most passing yards per game, and dude, their secondary is in rough shape. So go ahead and give me Daniels. I think Rodgers is in such an interesting place too, but because Indianapolis' secondary is terrible. But I do like Daniels right here. Robert Stone. Good morning to Jim. But hey, you can call me Jim if you want to. Okay, Jim Koh. Just here to listen to the valuable info. Hey, you and me both, pal. Like I said, Jim just drops heaters all day long. No question. Okay, Delroy, full PPR start 2. Chim DK, Alec Pierce, Trey Tucker. If I'm starting 2, it's definitely Chim DK. He definitely has a role now. Tyler Lockett, obviously waived. And it's opened up the slot role there for Chim DK. And so that's why I believe he is seeing so many more snaps and targets and all that kind of stuff. And by the way, snappy little athlete too is Shamir DK. And then I will also take, both these guys are in really good spots. Trey Tucker is in against Jacksonville. Jacksonville has really struggled to stop outside wide receivers. Alec Pierce is taking on that Pittsburgh secondary. Give me Alec Pierce, man. Give me Alec Pierce. I feel like, first of all, this one is a much more higher scoring game. If you're taking a look at the over-unders here, where are we, dude? This game has a big over-under, 50.5. It's the tied for the third highest, I believe. Yeah. So Arizona, Dallas is number 1. Kansas City, Buffalo, number 2. And tied at number 3 is Indianapolis, Pittsburgh at 50.5 for the Sunday slated game. So I think you're in pretty good shape. The guys in the desert are anticipating a little bit of a back and forth here. So yeah, I will take Alec Pierce, Chim DK. CD Smitty. Start 3, Tyrone Tracy, yes. Chase Brown, maybe. Marv Harrison. If it's not Kyler, then yes. So Tyrone Tracy, Marv Harrison, we're starting him. For me, it really comes down to Chase Brown or Stephon Diggs. Give me Chase Brown right here. Man, I don't have a great read on this, but I do know Chicago struggles against the run, right? So go ahead and give me Chase Brown. I feel relatively confident with that one as well. Spamming. John, I see you, buddy. We went Dak Prescott, by the way, if you guys just jumped into the chat here. William Cooley. William Cooley, you sound like a former president. William Cooley. Is this such a presidential name? Is William Cooley. DJ Moore, Dubs, or Watson, touchdown heavy scoring with yardage. What does that mean, touchdown heavy? So, like, what? You get more than 6 points for a touchdown? That'd be interesting. Dubs or Watson? When you say Watson, we're talking Christian Watson, right? I'm trying to think, man. Like, are there any? What other Watsons are out there? Whenever I see Watson, I'm like, I don't know why, but I think of tight end Ben Watson. I think of Deshaun Watson. I don't know. Christian Watson's not the first guy I think of here. But I think you're talking about Christian Watson. If that's the case, you know what? I'm going to say DJ Moore right here. I'm going to say DJ Moore. Cincinnati's defense is really, really bad. DJ Moore, I think, has the best chance to score a touchdown if we're talking about touchdown-heavy leagues here. Okay. Sarah Densmore. Also a cool name. Densmore's. I knew a Densmore once. Cool guy. But a great last name. Again, I get a lot of name envy. Okay. James Koh, 2 syllables, boring. Anyways, this is for Jim, but I'll step in if I may, Sarah. Quarterback question. Knicks in a brutal matchup against, we're going Rodgers here. Knicks is in a brutal matchup against Houston. Houston allows the fewest fantasy points per game to the quarterback position. It's anticipated to be a very low-scoring game. I know Patrick Surtain is out, so that should raise some of the scoring floor here a little bit. But overall, let me look at the over-under here. It's 39.5. That is by far the lowest point total anticipated here for week number 9. Denver with an implied score of just 19. Again, pretty tough when you're looking across the board. Low scoring game. That's what the guys in the desert are anticipating. And meanwhile, as I mentioned, Indianapolis-Pittsburgh supposed to be a high-scoring game. Go ahead and give me Rodgers. I feel confident that Rodgers will get you at least 2 touchdowns in this one. I feel confident about that. Mostly because I think of game script, right? Like, Indianapolis is for sure going to beat up Pittsburgh. They're going to score some points, right? 100% going to score some points. I think Rodgers will have to play catch-up, and as a result, I think he can get by on just volume. And like I said, the Colts secondary, not good. Okay, Jeff Sills, Flacco, Lawrence, or Darnold. Flacco, I'm worried about. I'm worried about Flacco, Jeff. I'm going to take him out, even though the matchup's great. The matchup is great, but, man, I'm just worried about that injury. Lawrence is in a good spot, too, but, again, if you told me BTJ was 100%, I would say Lawrence, but I'm not sure. The shoulder injury has me a little shook. Obviously, no Travis Hunter. Now we're talking about De'Ami Brown and Parker Washington. By the way, if you guys are looking for sleepers, Parker Washington is a good sleeper. De'Ami Brown is a good sleeper, deep sleeper for those of you in desperation mode. I'm going to go Darnold here. Darnold's been really, really consistent. Give me Darnold among that group right there. Okay. Jeff again. Travion Henderson, Tracy, or Addison in PPR. I think we could take Addison out. We do not like this matchup with J.J. McCarthy in the fold, and it's just a tougher defensive matchup anyways. I'm going to lean on Henderson here. I don't feel great about it. Like you, pal. I don't feel great about it, man. I do not. But give me Henderson here just a tick ahead of Tyrone Tracy. By the way, I like Tyrone Tracy too, by the way. But the offense, I think, is just not as good overall. So give me the running back in the better offense, which is New England. Right? So let's do it. Delroy, Jacoby Brissett, or Trevor Lawrence. I'll go Brissett. The matchup's too nice. Dallas is obviously horrendous defensively. Give me Brissett. again, it's hard to trust Brissett, but I'll take it right there, man. Jeff Berm. Good morning to Jim. Well, hey, listen, I'm going to step in if I may. All right. You've got Downs at 33. Can't see Franklin's ranking. I'd appreciate your thoughts between Downs and Franklin. I am leaning. I'm leaning Downs here. Higher scoring game. Downs is a certified, target getter when he's on the field. The problem is that he's not on the field every single snap, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But Franklin is in an interesting spot against Houston. I do think that they will shade coverage towards Cortland Sutton. And as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me pull this up. Because Troy Franklin plays primarily in the slot. I want to say like 65% in the slot. And a lot of his production has come in the slot as well. Houston has been tough in the slot. As a matter of fact, oh my goodness gracious, they have not allowed a single touchdown to a wide receiver in the slot. That's impressive. That is very impressive. And when I take a look at my cornerback grades, slot corner here for Houston, Jalen Petre, I have graded out as a top 10 slot corner. Pretty tough. Yeah, that's pretty tough right there. So go ahead. Give me Josh Downs. Give me Josh Downs. That was a long answer for what is most likely your flex play. I like it. 21-12 4L. 21-12. Okay. I feel like there's a hidden message in here. That's okay, though. Full PPR, Tet McMillan or Khalil Shakir? Oh, it's Tet. And I don't mean to be so dismissive, but Khalil Shakir is not playing 100% of the snaps. A lot of what he did in that breakout game was after the catch. So I'm not, again, I don't mean to be so dismissive because this is supposed to be a very high-scoring game. And there are reasons that Khalil Shakir can be started here, but Tet, man, he just is seeing so much volume. I just don't know how you get away from it. Relying on yards after the catch seems very, very risky for me. So I'm going to go Tet McMillan relatively easily. A lot of confidence with Tet McMillan over Khalil Shakir. All right, RGQ 808. You from Hawaii or you just like the 808s? You a DJ? You're either a DJ or you're from Hawaii. Hit me. RGQ, hit me. Let me know. Keenan Allen or Khalil Shakir? I am going to go Keenan Allen. I think, oh my goodness gracious. This one's got me a little bit twisted up. But give me Keenan Allen. I'll take Keenan Allen here. And then also you've got a secondary question of Hendy or Kareem. And for me, it's Kareem. Again, it's going to be a higher scoring game in that one. And by the way, Buffalo, man, they cannot stop the run. Or excuse me, I should say they've been very inconsistent stopping the run. But overall, they have allowed the fifth most rushing yards per game. They've allowed 5.26 yards per carry. That's tied for the second most in the NFL, right? They are dead last. They're dead last in yards after contact allowed. They are bottom 5 in explosive run rate allowed. Now, again, I don't think Kareem Hunt's going to be breaking one out for an explosive run. But if there is reason for optimism there, Buffalo's run defense has been, again, very inconsistent. Right, they were good against Carolina last week. That's fine. Bijan Robinson went crazy. Ramondre had a pretty decent game, 2 touchdowns for Ramondre. Alvin Kamara was fine, not great, but he was fine. But they also did give up a touchdown to Kendre Miller. So, again, it's an up and down unit. Right, it's an up and down unit, but overall, I would definitely not say that Buffalo's run defense is shut down. So go ahead and give me Kareem Hunt right there. Night Train. You need 2 running backs to start. Vidal, Manungai, Bam, Knight. Well, you got to start Vidal. He's in a great spot, 100%. And then, again, if I'm leaning anywhere here, it's going to be a Manungai. Cincinnati has been absolutely decimated. Bam Knight is in a really good spot too against Dallas, but again, they're going to work in a second running back. Not saying that they won't work a second running back in for Monungai, but the depth chart behind Monungai is barren. Barren. No DeAndre Swift, no Roshan Johnson. They're going to call up some dude from the practice squad. Okay. But I mean, it is barren. Bam Knight, I get it. Michael Carter is technically a practice squad guy because they cut him, signed him back to the practice squad. He's going to get the call up. But that being said, he was a starter at some point. You know what I'm saying? And while we think that Bam Knight will start, we're like 75% confident that Bam Knight is going to lead this backfield. We're 75% confident. But there remains that 25% where you say, well, maybe that Michael Carter cut re-sign was just a procedural move. Maybe Michael Carter ends up getting in there 50% of the time. That doubt must live in your mind a little. And if it doesn't, man, you must be extremely confident in Zonovan. That would just be my thought. But I would say Vidal, Monungai, I think are must-starts. Monungai, again, top 15 running back play this week. I don't think of that there's any question. No question. Monungai is a top 15 running back play this week. Night Train. Wow, what a handle. Need to start Vidal, Monungai, Bam Knight. Wait, hold on. Oh, Night Train. Spam in the chat. Come on, bro. John, PPR, Horton or Franklin? Again, I'm going to go Franklin here. I hate the matchup, obviously, but Horton is just, how much is he going to play, man? I really don't know. You know what? Well, shoot. Let me just look this up real quick. Torrey Horton. Okay. Torrey Horton last week played in back-to-back weeks. Torrey Horton played 23%. Oh, no, 37% of the snaps in back-to-back weeks. They worked in Derek Young. Jake Bobo's also out, so that's really interesting. They'll probably have some practice squad guy come in. But you know what? Now that I'm actually thinking about it, though, I'm like looking at this roster. I'm like, damn, I thought they had some other depth pieces. I guess they don't. You know what? Let's get spicy. John, let's get spicy. Listen, I go by the Sleeper King. Okay, I'm the self-anointed Sleeper King. I feel like I would be doing you a disservice if I didn't actually go out on a limb every now and again. Go ahead and give me Torrey Horton right here. Screw it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Washington's got it's a great matchup against Washington as well. Let's go Torrey Horton, man. Yeah, I switched up real quick right there. Damn. All right. CJ, Matt Stafford or Jaden Daniels. Stafford's got a great matchup this week. And here's the thing about when the Rams get ahead. When the Rams get ahead, you know what they do? They keep passing. They don't care. You think they're going to run that ball? Nah, they like to pass. They're going to pass, and they're going to pass, and they're going to pass. They're going to put up big numbers because that's what they do. New Orleans is in a rough spot right here. LA's at home as well. And I know the Rams, again, traditionally when you're a 14.5-point favorite, you're like, oh, man, that's going to be so good for the run game. I don't know why, but I just feel like when Sean McVay gets a big lead, he's like, screw it. We're just going to keep throwing the football. The only problem would be if LA gets out to like a 21-point lead, 28-point lead or something crazy in the third quarter. How much is Stafford going to play in the fourth? Then they might run. If they're up 21 in the fourth quarter, then they might run. But until we get to that point, I think Stafford's going to be just fine. And I do think that he'll be throwing the football quite a bit. So go ahead and give me Matt Stafford right there. Jaden Daniels, obviously, without Terry McLaurin. So that one has me just a little bit worried. And, oh, by the way, Seattle's defense is rocking and rolling right now, man. So go ahead and give me Stafford. Okay. Legacy. Rome Odunze, yes. Tet or Henry. No, it's Rome Odunze. Don't need a whole rigmarole around this one. Rome Odunze's he's balling. Caleb's not balling, but that's okay. Rome Odunze's balling. Better offense than Carolina. Henderson, I don't know what the hell's going to go on with this playtime. Bill Westcott. I feel like I'm trying to catch up here a little bit. Maybe I'm not. God dang. I am way behind. Okay, PPR need two. Christian Kirk, Jalen Knoll, Brashard Smith, Michael Carter, Devin Neal. Wow, you are in the trenches with me, Bill. Bill Westcott, you are in the absolute trenches, my guy. Are you serious? This is crazy. Give me Brashard Smith for one. I'm going to chase that upside all day long. And then, you know what? Give me Michael Carter too. Definitely not Devin Neal, backup running back. Although Kamara is hurt a little bit, but that's okay. They say he's going to play. So, I'm not really trusting that game script right there. And the offense I think is going to be terrible with Shuck. So I don't know. Give me Brashard Smith, high scoring game. Maybe we luck into a touchdown here. Michael Carter as well. Great matchup against Dallas. And again, you cannot convince me that, he won't see at least 40% snap share. I think Michael Carter sees at least 40% snap share in Arizona. So I will go there. Christian Kirk is coming back from injury. I don't know what that looks like. And also, Houston would be absolutely stupid. I'm just going to say they'll be stupid if they don't start working in Jalen Knoll more. The guy's been super explosive. Like, what are we doing out here? Other than Nico Collins, you can't tell me Jalen Knoll's not been their best wide receiver, period. Like, has he been their most productive? No. But in terms of, like, separation, quick separation, route running, like, what? Hands? Catching everything. I don't get it, man. If they don't start working in Knoll more, I don't know what to do with this coaching staff, man. I really don't. So yeah, I'll take Brashard Smith, Michael Carter, because I don't think Kirk will get a full-time role, and neither will Knoll. For sure, Knoll won't. And Devin Neal's in a bad situation, man. So, we're good. We'll stay with Bill Westcott. PPR, Hawkinson. Bill Westcott, it sounds like an 80s action character, too, by the way. Hawkinson, Theo Johnson. I'm starting Dart. Yeah, if you're starting Dart, dude, screw it. Hawkinson's been so blah. And by the way, JJ McCarthy in there? Nah, I'm good, dude. Give me Theo Johnson. Get that stack going, baby. Let's go. Legacy, Brissett or Darnold? I feel like I answered this one already, but I think we're going Darnold here. Maybe I didn't answer this one. We are going Darnold here, though. Seattle taking on Washington. Washington's defense is struggling a bit. They just don't have the guys. Ezekiel Ruiz, welcome to the chat, pal. Should I flex DJ Moore or Woody Marks? I am leaning DJ Moore right there because of the matchup, right? Cincinnati gives up a ton of production through the air. Their defense is not very good. I think Chicago's going to put up some points, hopefully. Can Caleb get it together? Caleb's got to get it together, y'all. I don't know, but I am trusting him a little bit. Woody Marks, again, in a backfield split, low-scoring game. Will he get it going? I don't know. Denver's been really, really good defensively. I will pass on Woody Marks here. Okay, Nolan Hudspeth. Man, wow. That's a cool name, too. I'm going to say Nolan Hudspeth sounds like a character from like a wizard. He sounds like a wizard. That's a very wizardy name. How well do you expect Monungai to perform? Again, top 15 running back play this week. I don't think of that there's any question. Again, he might not get there. But I'm saying in terms of role, right, talent, ability, and matchup, he's a top 15 play. Period. Pick one, PPR, Bam Knight or Charbonnet? Bam Knight. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. Listen, Charbonnet has been incredibly touchdown, reliant. Incredibly. If he doesn't score a touchdown, he does nothing. Let me look this up because I did look this up before, but Charbonnet has done absolutely nothing without a touchdown. Nothing. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 5 touchdowns. Those are the only weeks that he has scored double digits. Bro, against Pittsburgh in week 2, he got 15 carries. He got 10 yards, no catches. He got you 15 carries. He got you 1 fantasy point. That is wild. Wild. There has not been a single game where he has not scored a touchdown where he's done anything. Against Jacksonville, 12 carries for 24 yards. That is atrocious. Atrocious. 1 catch for 13. as well. He doesn't catch anything out of the backfield. If you get 2 catches from him, you're lucky. And yeah, he's been a super duper touchdown reliant. Like, could it happen against Washington? Yeah, sure. I guess it could. But relying on those touchdowns is a tough way to live. Give me Bam Knight. Great matchup against Dallas. He's going to be a starter. Uncle Ted, what's up, man? Good morning to you, pal. All those Brashard owners going to hate it when Clyde Edwards-Helaire takes all those touches. Yeah, shoot, that might be true, man. That might be true. But I am going to go with Brashard on this one. I do think that I think he gets going. I think he gets activated in this game. We'll find out. I'm not saying he's going to be a double-digit guy, like get locked and loaded, but I think he's in a good spot. High-scoring game. Buffalo gives it up on the ground here a little bit. What they don't do is they don't really give up a lot of passes out of the backfield, but I don't know. We might see a little something here different with Brashard Smith. I don't know. Maybe not. But again, Brashard's a deep sleeper, guys. Nothing more than that. Anyone telling you he's a must start or RB2, he's not an RB2. He's not an RB2. He's an RB3 at best. At best. He's a top 30 running back play, but he's a deep sleeper. I could absolutely see him catching one, big catch and run. I could see him breaking through, getting to the outside. Again, I think Buffalo's linebackers are a little bit slower, right? I think Brashard could get to the outside, crack one, big run. Maybe he gets one in for a touchdown. I don't know. He's gonna be a touchdown dependent guy for sure. MDOV or MDAV. I don't know. Pick one. Christian Watson, Slayton, or Troy Franklin. Sorry, guys. I am going to say, well, I got to pick up the pace here, y'all. I am going to say, I don't have a great read on this one, but give me Troy Franklin just because of I trust his role the most. I'll take Troy Franklin right here. Standard scoring from Shades. You need one. Marvin Harrison or Henderson? Give me Marvin Harrison. Especially because Kyler's not starting. Jacoby Brissett, give me that great matchup as well. MDAV, pick 2. Worthy, Kamara, Shaheed, Watson. I'm not playing Shaheed, not with Shuck out there. Absolutely not. I will. God, I don't feel great about Worthy either, but he's again in a potentially high scoring game. Maybe he gets behind the defense here. I'll take Worthy and Kamara. Night Train. We already got this one, pal. Jesse Cedillo. Bowers or Ferguson? I hope I said that right. Cedillo or Cedillo? I can't imagine it's Cedillo, man. That sounds weird. Bowers or Ferguson? Bowers is coming back. Ferguson is in a really, really great spot. I think he's in a beautiful spot, actually, against Arizona. If I'm not mistaken, I think Arizona gives up. Do they give up the most fantasy points per game? If they don't give up the most, they're bottom 5. Yeah, they've given up the 5th most fantasy points per game. To the tight end position. As a matter of fact, this is where I got confused. They've given up the 3rd most receptions and the most yards per game to tight end. Ferguson is in a great bounce back spot. I'm going to go ahead and just say Ferguson here. Where's the injury right now with Bowers? I'm not 100% sure. Chris Gallione. Chris Gallione or Gallione? Half PPR, Olave Pittman. Oh, we got to play Pittman here. Oh, against Pittsburgh, we got to play Shuck with Olave. Nah, give me Pittman. Easy one. Full PPR, Tet McMillan, Khalil Shakir. Give me Tet. I think I already did that one. I think I did this one too, MD, or no? Start 3 in PPR, Downs, Walker, Charbs, Pollard, Spears. Dude, bro, this is way too many. You know what, MD? If you narrow that down for, okay, I'll just go 3. We'll go Downs, Walker, and Bourne. I think Bourne gets in this week. I don't know. We'll find out. Max, DJ. Great content all week from Jim. As always, I totally agree. 12-team standard, Stafford or Daniels. Need 3, Jacoby Myers, McMillan. Stafford or Daniels. Okay, so we're going Stafford. We talked about that one. You need 3, Jacoby Myers, McMillan. Yes, you want to play Tet. DJ Moore. Yep, we want to play him. And I will play Olave here. Even though I don't like Tyler Shuck, I don't know where the hell we are at with Jacoby Myers. Bro, is he healthy? Is he engaged? He wants to get traded. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't have good vibes with Jacoby Myers, period. So give me Tet for sure. Olave and DJ Moore. Olave is still going to see 8 to 10 targets in this game. And if he does get 8 to 10 targets, Shuck just needs to be like ejected from New Orleans. You got to throw to your best receivers, man. Chargers aren't good guarding slot receivers. Yeah, okay, I could buy that. I'll give you some numbers here, as a matter of fact, since we're on the topic. They're not good defending slot receivers. Interesting. They've given up they've given up 3 touchdowns to this position. That's tied for the 10th most. They are. Let's see here. They've given up. They're bottom half in terms of yards and receptions allowed to this group. And then when I go to my slot corner grading, LAC. Well, they've got a couple of guys, right? But they're both pretty good in the slot. If we're talking about Derwin James, Tarheeb still, both pretty good. I've got them both graded out in the top 10. So it's interesting. It's an interesting matchup for sure. And it all just depends on, how they line up. But again, yeah, I don't know if I would say they're not good. I just think they're kind of average, I would say. That's probably my take on it, is that they're a little bit more average than they are not good, Uncle Ted. TB, PPR Flex, Horton, Bourne, DK. What? Okay. Oh, wow. You've got a lot of guys here. Okay. If I'm going to flex one guy here, shoot, man. Give me Tucker. I'm going to take Tucker right there. He has the most built-in role. But honestly, I think if we're chasing upside, and honestly, you should be. With this group, you should be chasing upside. Give me Horton. Yeah. Clyde Edwards-Helaire worth an ad? Absolutely. 100% worth an ad, because we don't know the extent of the severity of that injury. And as you mentioned, Uncle Ted, too, it's like you're like Brashard Smith is no lock either, Like CEH has obviously institutional knowledge built in with this group, and this offense is playing really, really well. So, yeah, you want a potential guy that, by the way, Kareem Hunt, remember 2 weeks ago, he got rolled up on too, right? There's no guarantees that Kareem Hunt stays healthy. I don't know what's up with Pacheco. He's weak, quote unquote, week to week. What does that mean? Shoot, the guy might be out 2-3 weeks. I don't know. Brochacho, dude, I love this screen name, bro. Brochacho 559. Are you from the Fresno? I think 559 is the Fresno area, right? Brochacho, you from Fresno, pal? You need a wide receiver too. Booty or QJ? Give me Keyshawn Booty, man. Better offense. Johnston has been kind of kicked out with the arrival of Oronde Gadsden. Where is he in questions? Well, this is where we're at. Okay, 839. Half PPR need to. Dowdle, Knight, Henderson, Jake Ferguson. Dowdle. Okay, we're playing Bam Knight, and we're playing Henderson. I feel pretty good about that one. Mark. I can't even begin to pronounce that last name. Need 2 of the 3 wide receivers: Bourne, Slayton, Christian Watson. 2 of 3. These are all. I mean, these are dartboard throws. You want to play Bourne? Play Bourne for sure. Of the other remaining 2, Darius Slayton or Christian Watson, it's a coin flip, man. Who cares? But I will say, if I'm leaning anywhere, I'm going to lean Christian Watson. They seem to want to get him involved here a little bit, so I'll say Bourne and Christian Watson if I'm leaning that way. But that's a dart throw. Eric Anders, start 1. Krosky, Merritt, Bam Knight, easily. JCM's been not great, man. And again, the matchups have been awesome. They just not running the ball well. Bench 1, DKT or McMillan. I'm going to bench. I am not trusting that shoulder injury, man. I'm going to bench T. Higgins, as sad as that sounds. Kyle Shander, I think is the name. Do I trade CMC and Odunze for Rice and Achan? No. No. I'm going to ride that CMC train until the wheels fall off, dude. And Achan for me is, like, he's all right. But, no, listen, Achan's been great. But the offense is in shambles, and I don't want running backs on bad offenses, period. Okay, by the way, let me get to some of these super chat questions here. Where did I come off here, man? Okay, I think we're here. Jay Cooperman. Need running back 2 and a flex from Knight Dowdle. Did I miss? Oh, I missed. Okay, no, hold up. We got those. My bad. Fatty Magoo. Here we go. Ferg or Kelsey. Give me Ferg or both and sit Walker. Oh, no, I want to play Walker this week, man. I'm going to chase that upside all day long. Give me Ferguson. Give me Ferguson. Better matchup, but man, Kelsey, high scoring game. Oh, this one's got my brain in a pickle. I'm leaning Ferguson here, though. I am leaning Ferguson. And I want you to start Walker this week. All right, next super chat question. OG Bobby. Oronde Gadsden or Kenneth Walker full PPR in the flex. Ooh. Okay, I am going to say I'm going to say with 51% confidence, I am going to say Kenneth Walker with 51% confidence. God dang it. Look, let me just say this. I'll put it to you this way. Kenneth Walker has the better matchup. He's got better upside than Gadsden. And Gadsden's been great. But let me just give you a couple numbers here, okay? Washington is allowing 5.5 yards per carry on outside runs. That's the worst in the NFL. What does the Kubiak scheme emphasize? Outside runs. What is Kenneth Walker good at? Outside runs. All of it is pointing towards if Kenneth Walker can get his normal 14 touches, he's got a real opportunity to crack a big one. Okay? So that's where I'm leaning. But if we want to go just straight up floor safety play with decent upside, it's Gadsden. Okay? So as I'm kind of sort of explaining all of it, I think if you wanted to get, you don't want to get burned. If you don't want to get burned, Gadsden's your guy. And he also gives you a ceiling not quite as high as Kenneth Walker, in my opinion, but it's still pretty high ceiling. So better floor, decent ceiling, Gadsden. Pure upside play is Kenneth Walker. Obviously, as we know, Walker can give you a 5-spot too and just absolutely crush your week, man. So that's kind of how I'm reading that. But I would say with 51% confidence, I am saying Kenneth Walker there. Okay, where are we at in the chat, bruh? Okay, I'm gonna try to just find my way here, dude. I don't even know where we are. Uncle Ted, Loveland breakout today. God, I thought it was gonna be the Loveland breakout last week. Cole Kmet is back this week, though. I think. So maybe Loveland breakout, possibly, but we'll find out. Ray McLeod playing today. I didn't see an update on him. I didn't see him on the injury report either, actually, to be honest with you. Delroy Scarlett, half point PPR, Michael Carter, Tony Pollard. I'm going to go Michael Carter. Better offense, better matchup. Tony Pollard is the back. I don't know if he's the backup, but man, that offense stinks. Jay Coop, you need 2 from Knight. Yep, plain Knight. And I think we already got this question. Yeah, we got Dobbins in there as well. Cardinals always play the Cowboys tough. Yeah, okay. I like it. Fantasy Meatball, sit 1. Gadsden, Kenneth Walker, Montgomery, or QJ. Oh, you're sitting QJ all day long. That one's easy. Flacco, Brissett, or Goff, pick 2. Superflex League, Brissett and Goff for me. Goff at home, good matchup as well. Brissett taking on down. And again, this one's a little risky because I don't know how much Kyler's going to play, but I'm going to say Brissett. We also don't know about the injury status for Flacco. Like, I know he's going to play, but I mean, again, he's an old man. Hurt his throwing shoulder. Didn't practice all week. Like, what are we talking about? I don't know. I feel bad about this one. Hey man, like, I don't have the time to set your entire lineup, my guy. I apologize for that, but that's just not this format. IO, start 2, half point PPR, Tyrone Tracy, Bam Knight. Yeah, we're playing Bam Knight, and Monty. I think I'm leaning Bam Knight and Monty here. These are all really, really good options. You have a deep team. Wow, that's tough. I'm leaning. I definitely want to play Bam, and I think Monty too at home. I'm going to chase that 2 touchdown upside that he gives you every single week. Full point PPR. You need a flex. Jalen Warren, Chase Brown, Tet BTJ, Monungai. I think you got to play Monungai here. Oh, you're leaning Brown with Flacco playing or Monungai. Okay, so I think my lean would be Monungai, but I tell you what, I'll say this to the chat always, 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 always. If if you've got a gut call, you're feeling something, go with it. Don't listen to some random dude on the internet. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, man. Like, if you've got a gut feeling, you like a matchup, and even though the matchup data says it's wrong, but you got a gut feeling, bro, go with that guy. It's all good. It's all good. It's your fantasy team. You can own it, baby. Let's go. But no, I'm leaning Monungai here. But if you like Chase Brown, man, I'm cool with that too. It's a good matchup against Chicago. But again, I do like Monungai in this spot too, man. 21. 21. I feel like this is a 21 Savage song. Okay, full point PPR. Where's my head at? Ted McMillan or Khalil Shakir. Bro, stop spamming the chat, dog. We got that one. Okay. Diggs or Kenneth Walker. I'll go Kenneth Walker, man. Charbonnet at the flex and half PPR. Oh, you got three guys. Diggs or Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet at flex. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker. Yeah, I'm going Kenneth Walker right here, man. And again, Diggs is probably is 100% the safer play, but shoot, give me freaking Kenneth Walker. Also drop Judy for Spears. Judy's a drop 100%. I don't care. You could drop him for anyone. He's not going to get going this year. No way. Not with that quarterback, not with the alignment that they've adjusted for him. He's playing outside X all day long. Like, what's going on here? Last year he was playing like slot flanker. This year, nah, dude, we're good. Judy's a drop for sure. I don't care. You can pick up any one of these dudes. But if Spears is available, I don't know how Spears is available, but if Spears is available, you go pick him up right now. Olave, Dubs, Addison, Monty, PPR pick 2. If I'm picking 2, I'm going to pick Olave and Monty, Tommy, Talaga. Man, cool name as well. Olave or Monty. Olave and Monty for me. I feel pretty good about right there. TD only. Mark Aram. I'm going to say the best chance for a touchdown to me is Odunze. I don't think there's any question in that, actually. Give me Odunze all day long. Let's see. I need one. Oh, my God, I got flex. I got 5 minutes here. Okay. I need one running back, one flex. Rico Dowdle, Travis Etienne. Play Etienne. Having a hard time trust Etienne and Sutton. Trust Etienne. You're good. You're good this week. Etienne's good this week against Vegas. Let's go. And then I'm gonna say Rico Dowdle over Cortland Sutton. Bad matchup. I don't like it at all for Sutton at all. Give me Dowdle and Travis Etienne. Papa Greco, what's up, dude? Stafford or Dart? Stafford. Easy call for me. Stafford. Easy call. Good morning. Sit one, please. Brashard Smith, Bam Knight, Parker Washington. I am sitting Brashard White. Brashard Smith. I'm sitting Brashard Smith, Kid Kobe. And Anna Ruiz. Olave, Keenan Allen, Gadsden. You need 2. Give me Olave and Gadsden. I'm torn on the Keenan Allen one. You don't want to play Keenan Allen and Gadsden. That seems to not make sense. So you definitely want to play Olave. Give me Gadsden here, but I could be tempted by Keenan Allen too. But go ahead and give me Olave and Gadsden. Adventures from the Q. Daniel Jones, Jaden Daniels. Daniel Jones. Easy call for me. Pittsburgh stinks in their secondary. They've given up the most passing yards per game. CJ, Matt Stafford, Jaden Daniels. Matt Stafford, again, all day long. Derek, Flacco or Dart? This one's a little tougher. If you told me Flacco's healthy, I'm going Flacco in a heartbeat. I think I might lean Dart right here, guys. I don't love it. I don't love it at all, but I'm going to say Dart because I don't trust that shoulder, man. Throwing shoulder, didn't practice all week. What? No, I'll take Dart. Derek Dortch. Any relation? Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, T-Mac. Need 2. Well, you want to play T-Mac for me, for sure. And you know what, man? I'll take Keenan Allen here. T-Mac and Keenan Allen. Again, I like T. Higgins too, but again, if Joe Flacco's not at 100%, man, it's basically Jamar Chase and no one else. You know what I mean? Paul Martine. I don't know. Flex play standard. Oh man, no PPR. Hawkinson's done nothing. Juwan Johnson has done. Definitely not playing Juwan Johnson with Shuck. Jalen Coker. I guess I'll go Jalen Coker. I don't feel great about that. Okay, this one's actually just straight yardage, though, right? Straight yardage. Okay, straight yardage. Juwan Johnson. Straight yardage. They're gonna have to be. They're gonna have to play catch up, and they're a 15-point dog in this one, for God's sake. So I'll go straight yardage wise. Juwan Johnson. I appreciate you, 21. I appreciate you jumping into the chat and jumping into the stream as well. Fuzzy. Jake Brisket. Jake Brisket. Yeah, baby. That's like an old school around the NFL nickname, dude. Let's go. Or Jordan Love. Brisket. 100% Brisket. Against Dallas. Yeah, dude. No question. Steve from Texas, maybe? Flex Worthy or Downs, full point PPR. I'm going to go Downs right here. Pittsburgh secondary stinks, man. Give me Downs. Oronde Gadsden from the OG Bobby. Oronde Gadsden or Kenneth Walker, full PPR in the flex. I think I got this one, guys. But again, 51% confidence, Kenneth Walker. But I do like Gadsden a lot. Okay, we're spamming here. Roger Wright. Am I starting ETN? Yes. Oh, you are starting ETN and BTJ. Do I start Matthew Golden or a third Jag in Parker Washington? Oh, I see. I don't like Matthew Golden. I'll tell you that. But you are capping yourself if you play Parker Washington too. That sucks. That's a tough call, Roger. If you in a vacuum, I go Parker Washington over Golden. Shoot, man. You know what? I'll tell you what, Roger. I'll tell you what. Yo, if Torrey Horton is available, go pick him up and throw him in there. Go pick him up and throw him in there. I like Torrey Horton more than Golden or Parker Washington, bro. Streaming kicker question: Prater, McManus, or Santos? Dude, I don't know. I would lean. I'm leaning McManus there, but I don't really have great reasoning for that other than I just like McManus. Half PPR. Okay, on the last question. Juan Pulido, full PPR, Gadsden or Laporta? Give me Gadsden. Warren or Monungai? Jalen Warren or Monungai? Monungai. Diggs, Allen, or Worthy? I'm gonna go. That one's tough. That one's really tough. But I will go with like 51% confidence. Diggs. Again, sorry, bro. I didn't get there, man. News just came out of Hunt and Burchard. What's that news? Did I miss it? No, I didn't see anything, dude. I have no idea. I got no clue. Anyways, it's all good. I apologize, guys, man. I got to as many as I possibly could. I ripped through a bunch of those, man, but I just didn't get there in time, man. I apologize if I didn't get to you. Again, I will try my best to go get through more of them next week, man. But damn, that was a huge backup right there. Hunt and Smith will split carries. Oh, is that right? Okay, I'm feeling good about that then. I'm feeling good about my Burchard Smith play. Danny Dimes or Jay Daniels? Give me Danny Dimes all day long. I feel like I answered that one a lot. Aiden Gallegos, what's up? Good to see you, pal. I don't know if you're still in the chat. I hope you are. Dowdle or versus Green Bay? Olave, this is a perfect question set up. I love it. I will take Dowdle in this setup here, but man, I don't know. I don't feel great about any of these plays. I definitely don't feel good about Olave. I think if we wanted safety, give me Diggs. If you want safety, give me Diggs, but I do think Dowdle's probably the call right there. Papa Greco, Sutton versus Houston, Walker versus Washington. I'm going Walker. That one's easy for me. I feel like this one's too late already, guys, and I apologize if this is the case, but man, I will take Walker right there. Guys, again, man, I love everyone out there, man. I feel bad, bro, that I didn't get to more. I wish I could have got to more. Full point PPR start 2. BTJ, this is way too late. My bad. If I had to start 2, it was going to be Tracy and Travion if I had to start 2. Anyways, yo, I'll see you guys next week, man. I appreciate everyone jumping in the stream. I promise you next week I'm going to get some more questions. Maybe I won't get so hung up on some of them, but I can't help it, man. Like when I start talking football, I start talking football, man. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Good luck to everyone out there. I hope everyone gets all the fantasy points out there. We'll see you. James Koh, follow me wherever you have social media, and I'll answer those questions on social media too. If y'all get to me at James D. Koh. Anyways, we'll see you guys. Peace. Remember, it's never too late to chase your dreams.